Alright guys, welcome to the second part of our video, Build a Real-Time Collaborative AI Workspace. Now we're going to start with chapter 1 where we're going to build a multi-agent system. We're going to learn what is multi-agent system and how it works. We're going to talk about context offloading and how to use context offloading in order to build efficient multi-agent system. We are going to move to the second chapter where we're going to build an AI editor with Titap. We are going to implement AutoComplete, refresh, translation, explain, simplify, citations. All these features are going to be built by us. We aren't going to use a third-party API. We are going to move here to the third chapter where we're going to integrate real-time collaboration features like live cursor, live map. And then we're going to move to the fourth chapter where we're going to integrate theming. Let's get started. Now, in order to continue, guys, I want you to have the basic because I'm not gonna get into the details soon, guys. Okay, I want you to have the basics of multi-agent system. In order to get the basics, you're gonna check LongTerm course is on our channel. Go check it out, guys. But also you're gonna check the last part of a video, NRN. Okay, you're gonna check the video builds NRN clone in order to learn about how to stream AMS from scratch. Okay, you're gonna check the last parts. Okay. Now, let's talk about multi-agent system. Multi-agent system is a collection of AI agents that work together toward the user inputs. These agents collaborate together toward the user inputs. We have here in our term context offloading. Context offloading is a pattern used in multi-agent system that allows agents to offload their memory, to offload their context window. Now, in order to understand this pretty better, I'm going to give you a practical example. Now, you can see here, guys, we have a multi-agent system. Yeah, this multi-agent system doesn't use context offloading. Now you can see here we have the manage agents with two sub-agents, reset agents, and FAQ agents. The manage agents can order the reset agents to go on internet and find data. And then the reset agents can use the set tool and then get data from the internet. We can have here, let's say, 3K tokens of data. Now, the reset agent is going to take here this data, this 3K token. It's going to pass the 3K token to the manage agents in order to analyze it. Okay. And once it gets data here, the manage agents can take again this 3K token and passes it to the FAQ agent here. And then we're going to consume here 3K token. And then once the FAQ agent finish, now it's gonna give again here the response back to the manage agents. And then the manage agents is gonna give the response to the user. That's how a multi-agent system works without context offloading. Now you can see in here we consume a lot of token. Let's say here, let's say 3K token is equal to $1. We're gonna consume here $1. And once the reset agent pass again the manage agent this 3K token, we're gonna consume it here again $1. And then once it passes it to the FAQ agents, we're gonna consume again $1. And the total amount here is gonna be $3, guys. Okay, with this kind of system we consume a lot of money. Now, in order to reduce the cost, we are going to use context offloading. Now you can see in here, guys, we have the manage agents. And then the manage agent has reset agents and FAQ agents. And in here you can see the reset agent has here a tool that allows it to create a file. Now, once the manage agents order the reset agent to make research, it can grab data on the internet. Let's say it is here 3K token. Now it's gonna take here this 3K token, it's gonna put it inside a file here. It's gonna keep the data in a file. And then it's gonna give a feedback to the manage agents. Hey manager, I saved the data in the file name. It's gonna return only the file name, okay? The file name. Once the manager gave the file name, and then it's gonna order here the FAQ agents to read the file. You can see it is here too that allows it to read a file. And then it's gonna read the file, and then create FAQ questions, and then return these FAQ questions to the manage agents. Okay, you can see with this kind of system, we don't consume a lot of money because here the reset agent is gonna send only the name of the file, And with this kind of system, we can consume less. Here we can consume even cents. Okay, 0.00 $1. Okay, that's what we're gonna consume. But with this system here, we're gonna consume $3. Okay, this is context offloading. Context offloading is a pattern that allows the agent to offload its memory. Okay, now you can see here we have some advantages. Clear context to the agent, remove distraction in the context of the agent, remove irrelevant data, keep agent focused, and reduce cost. Okay, these are some advantages of using context offloading. Okay, now here's the design of multi-agent system that I'm going to use in order to chart over many documents. Okay, now I'm going to explain you how it works. Now you can see we have here the manage agents. This manage agents has here two sub agents, image reader and researcher team agents. Okay, this research team agent is a manage agent too. Now, once we pass here an input to the manage agents, it's going to analyze the input and decide if it can pass the input to the image reader or to the research team agents. Okay, now if pass an input to the research team agents, what it's going to do here? First of all, it's going to move the input to the planner agent here. The planner agent, it's going to make a plan here. And once it finishes making a plan, it's going to take the plan and it's going to put it inside a file. Let me show you something right here. Now you can see here the planner agent has here a tool that allows it to create a file. Okay, it's going to take the input and then it's going to create a plan here. And once it finishes creating the plan, it's going to inform the manager agent. Hey, manager agents, I just finished creating the plan. You can find the plan in the file. It's going to return only the name of the file. And then once it receives the name of the file where the plan is saved, it's going to invoke here the multi-query agents. Multi-query agents read the file and then creates multiple versions of the user input based on the plan of the planner agents. Okay, and you can see the multi-query agent 2 here. It is here the right. It is here too that allows it to create a file too. And then it's going to generate multiple versions of the user input and keep it inside a file. And then once finished, it's going to inform the manage agents. Hey, manage agents, I just finished creating multiple versions of the user input. You can check the file. Okay. And then the manage agents, it's going to take here the file. It's going to pass it to the librarian agents. Librarian agent here. You can see we have here the librarian agents. The librarian agents, what it's going to do here? The librarian agents here, it's going to fetch a list of documents in database. You can see in here, guys. The librarian is going to pass it to fetch document list, okay? And then it's going to fetch data in database. It's going to return something like this. It's going to return here a list of documents, okay? And then it's going to compare the generated query versus a retrieved document. It's going to try to make a filter. It's going to return only relevant documents. Let's say the user asks about AI. It can return only this. LLM powered autonomous agents can return this. It can return this and ignore other. Okay, it's going to ignore all the rest here. It's going to return only free documents. Okay, and then once it returns here free document to the manager agent here, the manager agent is going to spawn multiple retriever agents. Okay, yeah, this is how the documents returned by the librarian agents looks like. Okay, you can see it's gonna make a filter, okay, from this document right here. It's not gonna retrieve everything. Okay, it's gonna select only documents related to the user input. Okay, and then it's gonna return this file to the manager agent, the file name. It's gonna return here the file name. Hey, manager agent, check this file. You're gonna find in a concerned document, and then the manager agent is gonna see here we have autonomous agent. This document is concerned. We have the LLM power autonomous agent is concerned, and we have here this file is concerned too. Now you can see here the librarian agents pass here to a query that we're gonna make in order to get data. For this one, you can see key components of autonomous agents. For this one here, we have types of autonomous agents, and we have another query. We're gonna pass a decision-making process in autonomous agents. Okay, this is the input that the retriever agent is gonna receive. Okay, you can see here, guys. Let me go here. You can see once the manage agents receive the file, it's gonna order the retriever agent to read it. And here, the manage agent is gonna spawn, it's gonna create multiple retriever agents, okay? You can see here on the design here, you can see we have here a single retriever agents. And once the manage agent order the retriever agent, it's gonna spawn, okay? When I'm talking about spawn, it's gonna create a, let's say, even free retriever agents, even free. You can see here we have free documents, okay? We have a system prompt that teach the manage agents how to call free retriever agents, how to create free retriever agents. As we have here free document, we're gonna spawn here the manage agents. It's gonna spawn a retriever agents. It's gonna spawn a retriever agent for paralization, and then it's gonna spawn here another retriever agents. It's gonna spawn free retriever agents. You can see, in here you can see we have here free doc, okay? It's gonna pass this input to the first retriever agents, to the second retriever agents, and this is gonna be for the third retriever agents. If here we have 5 doc, it's gonna spawn for a retriever agent, okay? That's how it works. And once these retriever agents here finish, each retriever agent, it's gonna take its data and then it's gonna put it inside a file. It's gonna create a file and keep passing data. This one create a file, passing data. This one here too create a file, passing data, okay? And once all of them finish, they're gonna return only the file name to the manage agent. They're gonna return only the file name. And here guys, once the manage agent receive the file name where the data is kept, it's gonna call here, it's gonna interact now with the main manage agents, okay? You can see he's the main manage agent. It's gonna tell the main manage agents the data is saved in this file, in this file, in this file. Now the main manage agent is gonna read this file and then generate the final response to the user. And that's how our system basically works. It's pretty simple. And you can see here guys, each agent here has a tool. You can see it is this tool that allows it to create a file, and here manage agents has a tool that allows him to read a file. You can see, yeah, you can see this is a tool right here. You can see I pass it right here. Okay, now I use this tool only in order to design the system. Now we're gonna learn how to build this, okay? We're gonna learn how to build everything, okay? Alright guys, now I'm gonna explain you how the system works on the hood, okay? So that you can build it yourself, okay? Now you can see our system has quite a few tools. We have here fetch document list tool. This tool allows the agents to fetch a list of documents related to a project. You can see we have here these projects, Python research, and we have the JavaScript research. Now, if we pass the project ID for this project, the agent is going to retrieve it, okay? If we pass this, the agent is going to retrieve it, okay? This is the purpose of the fetch document list tool. We have here tool that allows the agent to read a file, to write a file, to retrieve data from a vector base, and we have here tool that allows the agent to read an image. Now I'm going to explain you how each tool works, okay? I'm not gonna create everything, okay? It's gonna take a lot of time, guys. You can see here I've already passed here some system prompts for 8 agents. I'm gonna explain you how everything works in here. I'm not heading to in here. You can see each agent right here. I've already crafted the prompt, okay? I've already crafted the prompt. Now I'm going to explain you how I craft this prompt so that you can build it, okay? Now I'm going to, you can see our system is located inside the leaf folder. And then we have here multi-doc agent, okay? I'm going to click here and then we're going to head in. Now you can see here, guys, we have here the tool folder. Now if I head into in here, you can see we have here the fetch document list tool. This tool allows the agent to fetch a list of documents. I pass here the user ID and project ID, and then I open here the database connection, and then I invoke the function getDoc for projects. We already create a function, guys, okay? And then I'm gonna return here an array of documents. And I pass here a little description that allows the agent to know how to call the tool. We have here file system tool. We have here tool that allows the agent to create a file. The agent can pass the file content, but also the file name, and then it's gonna create a file here. Okay, it's gonna create a file. And we have here tool that allows the agent to read a file. The agent can simply pass here the name of the file and then it's going to read the file. And all files created by the agents are kept inside the scratchpad folder in a public folder. Now, if I head into the public folder, you can see we have here folder scratchpad. Okay, if an agent create a file, they're gonna put it in here. You can see we have here some queries generated by the agents. This file has been created by the multi-query agents. If I head into here, this file here has been created by, let me check here, but I think this file has been created by the retriever agents. Okay, yeah, you can see this one here has been created by the librarian agents. Now I think I just finished presenting you tools. You can see I think we have here 4 tools, okay, that we're gonna use in the system. Now you can see here inside the multi-doc agents, we have here a folder, middleware. And here I have a middleware that allows to know which tool has been called by the agents. If you don't know what is a middleware, I invite you to go check it out my LongTerm course, okay? You're gonna learn what is a middleware and how to use it, okay? This is a middleware. Now, you can see here we have the prompts folder where I put in all prompts. And now you can see we have here the prompt for the research agents. We have here research agent prompt. Okay, this is the agent right here. Let me show you on the graph here. You can see this is the research team agent. Okay, this agent right here. Now let me show you this agent right here. Okay, it is this prompt. Okay, I passed this prompt to these agents. Now you can see here's the system prompt. You are a research agent, a manager agent orchestrating a multi-question answering system over multiple documents. And you can see here, I pass here the responsibility of this agent. I pass here tools, and here I pass here workflow. Okay, the execution. Okay, the first step, the manager receives the user query, instruct the planner agent to create a sequential execution plan, and offload it to a scratchpad file. Then once the planner agent finish, it's gonna send the file name to the manager agent. It's gonna read it. And then here, step 4, the manager agent is gonna call the multi-query agent to generate multiple versions of the user inputs as specified in the plan. Step 5, multi-query will return you the name of the file containing improved version of the user query for semantic search. Step 6, call librarian agent by providing the user ID and project ID to you, provided to you alongside with the file containing the improved questions based on the user query. You must send the file name containing improved questions with a little description. And I pass here a little description how the librarian agents return a file. You can see we pass here a little description. Okay, once the librarian agent finish working, it returns here the name of the file, but also a little description. Step 7, librarian will return you the name of the file. Once the librarian agent finish working, it's going to return the name of the file where data is kept. Okay, step 7, and here we have the step 7. Librarian agent will return you the name of the file where we have a list of concerned documents. Once the librarian agent finish, it's going to return the name of the file where the data is kept. Now, step A, read the file returned by the librarian agents containing improved version of the user query for semantic search. And then once the librarian finish, on step A, it's going to return the data, okay? It's going to return concerning documents. On step 9, you as the manager spawn retriever agent based on the number of queries for each document. Each spawn retriever agent must have a value as query, project ID, user ID, file name, where to save the retrieved data. The project ID and the user ID value will allow the retriever agent to fetch data in the vector database. Step 10, each spawn retriever agent will return you the file name where the data is saved. Step 11, you must output only the file name returned by the spawn retriever agent with a little description. On step 11, guys, the research agent is going to return only files, okay? Files containing data to these manager agents here. Okay, it's gonna return only files containing data, the name of the file containing data. And then the main managed agent is gonna read the file. Now we have here another prompt for the planner agent. We have here a system prompt. For the multi-query agent, we have a system prompt. You can see pass identity. You have the multi-query agent specialized in generating high-quality research queries for semantic search. Now you can see I pass the task of this agent, tools, and constraints. We have here for the main manager. Yeah, this prompt right here is for the main manager. You can see this is the main manager here. And here is the prompt here. Pass it. You have the managed agents, the central orchestrator of question answering system of a multiple document. Okay. I inform the managed agents. I inform it about his sub agents. Okay. I inform it about his sub agents. The main managed agent knows that it has an image reader, a sub agent. And here it is here the research agent is sub agent. Okay, it knows that I've already informed everything to the managed agent via the system prompts. Okay, and then here I create here now the sub agent. You can see first of all we have here, let me head into the managed agent. You can see here is the managed agent. I pass here create agents. And then I'm passing the model system prompt, and here I pass here tools, and I pass the research agent his tool, and I pass the managed agents other tool like read file tool and read image tool, and here I pass the tool monitoring middleware in order to know which agent has been called by the managed agents. Now if I click here, you can see we have here the research agents. Okay, I wrap it inside a tool so that the managed agent can call it. And here you can see the researcher agents has here a library agent, has sub agents, multi-query agents, planner agents. It is a tool that allows it to read a file, a tool that allows it to create a file, and it is here a retriever agent. Okay, and I pass here this is some prompt. Okay, it's very simple if you know how to create a multi-agent system. Okay, and yeah, that all guys. Now we're gonna try to test this and see how it works. Okay, you can see it's pretty simple. I don't have many stuff inside the multi-doc agent folder. Now I'm gonna delete the file right here, scratchpad. I'm gonna delete that. Okay, I'm gonna pass it. I'm gonna create it again, scratchpad. Yeah, let's pass it right here and put it back here. Okay, yeah, you can see we pull back here the folder scratchpad. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to test a component of our system. You can see our system here is a researcher team. Okay, now I'm going to test these components and see if we're going to get here the name of the file where the data is saved. Okay, that's what I want. Okay, from this second part of our system. Now I'm going to head into here. We're going to head into the API folder, and inside the API folder, what I'm going to pass in here, I'm passing here a test folder, and inside of it I'm passing an endpoint root. Okay, and we are going to pass here an endpoint here, and here I'm passing here research agents. Okay, I want to test the system. You can see actually here, if I head into the public folder, you can see the scratchpad folder here. Let me remove here. Let me get rid of this folder right here and pass it right here like this. You can see actually the scratchpad folder is empty. Okay, we don't have any file here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this, and then I want to see what the agent's going to do. Okay, now I'm gonna head into the browser. I'm gonna move right here, and then we're gonna pass here the endpoint API/test, and then we're gonna tap inner and see what we're gonna get here. And yeah, I'm gonna run here the system and pass the npm run dev. Okay, now let's go back as our system is running and pass here now the endpoints. Let's see what we're gonna get here, guys. Yeah, you can see, guys, that actually the agents start working. You can see planner agents. You can see the agent is working, guys. Actually, the agent is working. And you can see inside the scratchpad folder, we have here some file. You can see, okay, yeah, you can see this file has been created by multi-query agent. You can see the multi-query agents create multiple versions of the user input, key elements that make up an autonomous AI system. You can see, and here we have another file that contains a list of consent documents. We have here autonomous agents, LLM powered autonomous agents. Okay, these are consent docs selected by AI, and we have here another file right here that concerns about MaxiSharp e-commerce platform. And yeah, we have here these two. Okay, the agent's still working. You can see actually the agent is putting data in file. Here's the retrieve data retrieved by the retriever agent. And here, let me head into the file. In the file right here. Yeah, the agent's still working. If I move right here, it's still working. Okay, create here another file. Yeah, you can see now here's the data for MaxiSharp. The retriever agent is working. Okay, let me see right here if we have a file for autonomous agents. I think it's gonna create it. Yeah, it's still working. Let me check here. We should have it right here. Okay, and here you can see, let me check here some files right here. Yeah, you can see we have here another file related to AI. Key characteristic: independence, operates on its own. Yeah, this file right here is for autonomous agents. Okay, retrieve data. Okay, now once the retriever agent finish creating the file, it's gonna return only the name of the file to the managed agents. Now if I head into the browser, you're gonna see in here we have only the name of the file where data is kept. Let me copy this, and you're gonna see that I'm now move right here. Let's put the data right here. Okay, I'm passing the data. Yeah, you can see we have here a file, autonomous agents. Let me copy the name of the file where data is kept. We're gonna try to verify this, and we have here another file, MaxiSharp. I'm gonna copy this file, and this is the file that the managed agent is gonna read. Okay, this file ends with 670. I'm gonna try to look for the file 670.md. Now let's check that. You can see we have here 670.md. You can see this data right here concerns autonomous agent. Okay, the main agent is gonna read the file, and we have here another file, MaxiSharp info. Okay, now let me try to check these two. Let me see here. This file ends with 31. Let's check here. Okay, yeah, you can see we have a file that ends with 31. Okay, the file concerned MaxiSharp. MaxiSharp is modern e-commerce platform. Okay, yeah, you can see the agents finished working. It's pretty smart, guys. Okay, now once the managed agent is gonna receive here this file, it's gonna read the data and then generate a response to the user. Okay, that's how our system works. Now we're gonna test the entire system. Okay, now we're gonna test the entire system, and then we're gonna incorporate it. We're gonna incorporate it into our UI. Okay, we're gonna work on our UI. Okay, we're gonna start interacting. We're gonna create an endpoint in order to start interacting with these managed agents. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Alright, guys, now gonna start interacting with the multi-doc agents. We just finished testing a part of our system. You can see we have here the researcher team. We just finished testing this subsystem of our system. Now we're gonna create an endpoint that allows us to interact with the entire system. Now we're gonna head into the API folder, and inside the API folder, you can see in here, guys, we have a stream folder, and we create the stream folder in the first part. So go check it out, and we simply pass here an LLM. Here you can see we have here an LLM. And then we pass here a React agents, and then this is simple charts agents. Okay, we basically do a simple chat with the agent. We don't have a sophisticated thing, guys. Okay, we created this endpoint in the first part. So go check it out, guys, in order to understand what we're gonna do right now. You can see we have here chat reverse model. We have here a create agents function that allows us to create React agents. And we have here message and user ID. That's what we send to these endpoints. And once we pass here a message, the agent's gonna react automatically. And we in here, in order to stream the AI message back to the user, we use server send event. Okay, that's what I said previously in the first part. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete everything in here. And then we're gonna pass here the multi-dog agents. And the multi-dog agents, we're gonna pass the user ID. We're gonna pass the user ID, we're gonna pass the project ID, and also we're gonna pass the message. Okay, now we're gonna recreate everything. I'm gonna explain everything so that you can build this at your own, guys. Okay, now let's start. I'm gonna remove this. Now what I'm going to do in here, guys, I'm going to import the manager agents. Okay, you can see in here I just imported the manager agents. Now I'm passing an endpoint support, and in here we're going to pass here the message. We're gonna extract the message, the user ID, the project ID, and you can see I just type it. Okay, now we are going to pass here the manager agents. If I click here, if I click right here, you can see I just wrap the manager agent inside a function, and basically pass here the user ID and project ID. And you can pass here an additional prompt here. You can see pass here the system prompt, and then I pass here an additional prompt. You must provide these parents to sub agents to fetch data in external system. I pass here the user ID and project ID to the manager agents. Okay, now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to pass here now text encoder in order to encode the text. I'm passing functions of assign events. We pass here the event, but also the data. Now I'm gonna pass the function route to child history. Okay, we have the file child history inside the public folder. If I head into the public folder and child history, you can see we have the file. I'm not putting the message, and here we're gonna pass the user ID and project ID. Now I'm going to click here, and then I'm gonna update the params of this, and then I'm gonna update the params of this tool. I'm passing here the project ID, and I'm passing here the thinking. Okay, we're gonna extract also the thinking from the agents. Now I'm gonna go back here. I'm passing here the streaming text. We're gonna pass here the thinking buffer variable and in thinking variable. And right here, guys, if the A is thinking, we're gonna take the thinking text, we're gonna push it inside the thinking buffer variable. That's what we're gonna do. You can see here, guys. Let me move right here. You can see when the A is thinking, its wrap is thinking inside the thinking tab. You can see we have here the think tab. Okay, think tag. Okay, when the A is thinking, it put its message inside the think tag. Okay, now I'm going to check if the AI is thinking or thinking message. We aren't going to return it to the user, but instead we're going to push it inside the thinking buffer variable. That's where we're going to keep all the thinking of the AI. And all the original message generated by the AI, we're gonna push it inside the streaming test variable. Okay, now you can see I just pass here in thinking. If we detect here the think tag here, I'm gonna modify the value of this variable to true. Okay, now I'm passing here double stream in order to start streaming AI message, and then we're gonna iterate through the AI message and stream mode updates. And now I'm passing here check the tools in order to get access to tool message, and here we're gonna get access to user message. Okay, now I'm gonna pass here if updates and update the length. It means in here pass here this if we have the thinking step here, if we have something inside the update check here for the tool message, I'm going to push everything. I'm going to push here an event thinking. I'm gonna pass all the contents to the thinking events. Else here we are going, if we have here the original message, this is the original message. You can see this is the thinking message right here. You can see AI wrapping inside the think tag. Okay, you can see here's the think tag, and we have here think tag. Okay, now this is the thinking. Now this is the message concerned by the user. Now if we have this message, I'm going to push it inside this event. Okay, we are going to, you can see In here we pass here, first of all, we pass here check the model request, okay, the message. We have here the original message, but the original message can contain thinking tag, okay. Now I'm gonna check this. If we have here this think tag, I'm gonna escape it, okay, and pass here. If we have here the think tag, we're gonna pass here in thinking true, and else if we have here the end, we're gonna modify here the value of in thinking tag variable to false. And then here I'm going to enqueue all these message and pass all this thinking message to the thinking buffer variable, okay. We're gonna pass everything there, and then we're gonna return an event thinking. Else we're gonna send here now the original message. We're gonna pass here streaming text plus equal parts, okay, and then I'm gonna send here an event message like this. And now here, guys, we're gonna pass here controller.enqueue. Once we finish streaming the A message, now we're gonna close the connection, okay, and pass save as send event end. And once on the client we receive an end event, we're gonna close the connection. And then we're gonna take here the thinking and also the contents. We're gonna push it inside the child history, and then we're gonna close the connection right here, guys. And if we have an error, we're gonna return here an error event, and then we're gonna return here the stream to the clients. Okay, that's pretty much it, guys, for this endpoint. Everything it's gonna work pretty well, okay. It's gonna work pretty well, okay. Now we need to test this and see if it's gonna work, okay. Now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to head into the child.ts. You can see here's the child.ts, and we have here a function that we created in the first part that allows us to retrieve the child history, okay. Now what I'm going to do in here, guys, I'm going to pass here now the thinking property, because we just added to the child history, okay. We need to retrieve it. And also we are going to retrieve the child history using the project ID and the user ID, okay. Actually pass here only the user ID. Now what I'm going to do here, guys, I'm passing here the project ID. I'm gonna add it right here, and I'm passing the type is gonna be string, okay, like this. And here I'm passing project ID is equal to project ID, okay, project ID like this. Okay, we got this. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to go back inside the agent folder. Let's go back inside the API folder. API folder right here, you can see we have a child history. Now I'm gonna head in and I'm gonna extract here the project ID. I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm pass here project ID. I'm copy that, and then I'm pass in here like this. And right here you can see, yeah, user ID. I'm passing here all project ID are required. And then you can see we have a function that allows us to read. We have a tool that allows us to read, to retrieve data from the child history. And I'm passing here another property. I'm passing the project ID like this. Now we're gonna head in. I'm gonna head into the read child history tool, and then I'm modify here. I'm passing a property, passing project ID like this, and then we're gonna copy that. We're gonna pass it at the bottom here, project ID, okay, and then I'm passing the tab is gonna be a string. Yeah, the tab here is a string like this. And here we are going to retrieve the data using the user ID and project ID. You can see here, guys, we are making filtering right here. Okay, I'm gonna use here too. Yeah, here I'm gonna check here if the user ID and the project ID are defined. We are going to retrieve data and pass here if RM. You can see pass here. Okay, you can see pass here RM that user ID is equal to user ID, and I can pass here and here, and pass here and RM, pass RM that project ID is equal to project ID like this. And then we're gonna retrieve data based on the user ID and project ID. I'm copy this, and then I'm passing here. Yeah, like this. It's gonna work. Okay, cool. We just finished in here, guys. Now I'm gonna go back, and now we're going to head into now the chat box. Okay, now inside the chat box, you can see inside the chat box, guys, we already passed here a function. You can see in here we have a function that allows us to eat the stream endpoints. Okay, we create a function in the first part, and we pass here the message, user ID and project ID. Now what I'm going to do in here, guys, I'm going to add here something that allows us to extract the thinking message. Okay, that's what I'm going to add in here. Now I'm going to pass here thinking QRef, and then I'm pass here thinking tapping ref. Okay, now I'm gonna use here these two variables in order to create a tapping effect. Okay, once the AI return the thinking, we have the message. Now I'm going to create a tapping event. Okay, and now here I'm passing tap next thinking. Okay, now we're gonna pass here, I'm passing thinking qref that current the length. If we don't have data, we're gonna return here false. We're gonna modify the value of the thinking tapping ref to false. And if we have data, I'm gonna modify the value to true, and then I'm going to push the last item. Okay, I'm not remove here the last item. Yeah, the first item. We're gonna remove here the first item, and then here we are going to call here function append to assistant thinking. We're gonna create a function inside the chat slice. I'm not creating it. And here you can see if I scroll at the bottom here, when we are streaming the message here, we are checking here if the message event is undefined and isn't now. Now we're gonna check here if the thinking event here isn't now and undefined, and then we're going to pass here char of their thinking. This one is message. We're gonna get access to the message, and then pass here thinking qref that current the push. We're gonna push in data, and then we're gonna stream it. Okay, and here if is equal to false, we're gonna call this. Okay, now we're gonna head into the chat slice, and here I'm going to pass here first another function right here that allows us to append the AI thinking to the chat array. Okay, I passed this. And guys, if you don't understand this code better, go check it out the first part. I explain everything from scratch. You can see inside the chat box we have a lot of code. I create 90% of this code in the first part. So go check it out, guys, in order to get the basic. Now in here, I'm going to pass here now to the fetch history function. I'm pass here the project ID, and here let me go back here, and then I'm pass here. Let me pass here an object. Okay, we're gonna pass something like this, and then pass here props, pass here prop, and pass here props like this. Okay, now I'm gonna extract here the user ID and project ID. I'm pass here const user ID, and we're gonna pass the project ID like this, and then is equal to props. Okay, like this. And I can even create here a type. I'm gonna copy this and pass here inner first, pass exports, pass here type, and so we can pass here even an inner first, and then pass here I fetch projects. Yeah, I can pass here I fetch char history. Okay, type like this, and then we can pass here the user ID and project ID. Let me pass right here. Okay, something like this, and then we're going to copy that in first. We're gonna pass it in here. Now I'm going to head into the chat slice, and then I'm passing here, right here, and then we're gonna import it. And after importing it, we're gonna pass it to the function. Okay, like this. And now here I can pass here the project ID, and here we're gonna get rid of the error and pass here the project ID like this. Okay, you can see the error disappear. Now what I'm going to do next, you can see we have here get char history. I'm going to let me first, yeah, we're gonna export first this function right here, append to assistance AI thinking. I'm gonna export it first, and then we're gonna head into the chat box, and then we're gonna pass here this function right here. We're gonna pass the get char history function. We're gonna pass it another parameter. Now we're gonna head into the chat box, and we're going to look for the function get char history, and I'm pass here now the project ID. Okay, in order to remove here another. Okay, pass here project ID like this. Okay, everything is cool, guys. Okay, we have here the project ID. Okay, yeah, you can see in here, guys. Yeah, we still have here tapping error, and in here I think we got a tapping error because the type of project here, yeah, the tab here, you can see the tab of the project ID is a string or undefined. You can see from the chat box here, I'm gonna remove here undefined so that we're gonna get rid of the tapping error. And yeah, that's great. And also you can see, guys, we have here at the bottom here, if I scroll at the bottom, we have here a section. Okay, you can see we have that component right here, message bubble. Now I'm gonna click here. Now you can see this is the component I will use in order to display the AI and human message, okay, in order to display the child history, okay. Now I'm going to add here AI thinking section, okay. We're gonna add AI thinking section, okay. Now in the first part, we create the AI thinking component. Yeah, we create that component in the first part. Go check it out, guys, okay. Now I'm going to import that component, and then I'm passing the message loading property and is user ID property, okay. We're gonna go back inside the chat box, and then I'm gonna pass it in here. You can see we have here AI thinking. I'm passing here like this, and now I'm gonna pass it the message. Okay, I'm passing the message is equal to message like this. We're gonna pass here the loading property is equal to loading property, and we're gonna pass here another property is user ID. Okay, I'm passing here is user ID is equal to is user ID like this, and we're gonna import the components. And yeah, that's it, guys. And now you can see here, guys, if I head into the AI thinking component, you can see we are going to pass here the, yeah, you can see we pass here let me show you. Let me head into first the browser, and then you're gonna see what we got in here. I'm gonna move right here, and then I'm passing hello. I'm passing hello. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you can see. Okay, let me pass you something. I'm going to pass here, yeah, show thinking. I'm pass here true, and then you're gonna see something. Now let me go back. If I pass here again hello, yeah, you can see, guys, yeah, it disappear again. Okay, what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to pass here for the loading property here. I think we have here loading property. I'm passing it through. Let's see what we're gonna get here, guys. Okay, yeah, you can see actually we have something here, an animation. We have an animation here. You can see this is a schema effect. Okay, you can see we have here little animation like in ChatGPT. Okay, you can see. Okay, now how to get this, how to set up this. Okay, now I'm going to head into right here. Yeah, we're gonna head on we're gonna head on assistantui.com/schema effect. Okay, you're gonna install this package in order to add this animation. Okay, tap npm install schema effect. Okay, tap this command, and now you're gonna head into your globals.css, and then you're gonna import a Tawin schema. Okay, you're gonna add this, and then you're gonna add schema class, and then you're gonna see this effect right here, guys. Okay, go on and do that. Now I'm gonna go back here, and then you can see our AI is working pretty well. Okay, you can see our AI right here is working. Let me go right here, guys, and you can see it's working pretty well. And we have here the thinking section. Okay, you can see when I pass here hello, the AI think. Okay, the user said hello, that greeting, I need to respond appropriately. Okay, since there's no specific question here, I don't need to involve any sub agents. Now you can see we just get here the original message, we get it off the thinking. Okay, hello, how can I assist you today? Okay, and now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm gonna pass here loading, and I'm pass here thinking to false. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm gonna go back here, and then if I pass here I'm pass here question. Let me select here project first. You can see we have here list of projects. Okay, let me head into the library. Now you can see here we have a list, so we have some projects. If I pass here something like what is LongTerm, give me an overview of LongTerm. I'm passing give me an overview of LongTerm, and you can see we have here a document that talks about LongTerm. You can see we have it right here. Okay, now let me pass here enter and see what we're gonna have here. You can see show thinking. Okay, you can see actually the AI is thinking and is working. Okay, yeah, once the AI finish working, we're gonna start streaming real message. And if I head into the console, as you can see, actually the AI is coding tool and creating files. Okay, you can see actually the AI is still working. You can see we have here, yeah, we have a schema effect. You can see. Okay, you can see the AI is still working. And you can see in here we have this loading right here. It means the A is still working, okay? And yeah, the A is working, guys. We're gonna wait a bit until it finish, okay? Yeah, you can see continue. Now it starts generating the response. LongTerm is an open source framework designed for building AI agents. You can see the A is working pretty well, guys. Everything is going well, okay? Oh yeah, it continue working. Yeah, you can see that's great. Great, guys. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, it finished. You can see we have here the definition of LongTerm. LongTerm is an open source framework. We have here core features, use cases, key components, and here we have everything about LongTerm, okay? Yeah, this is the multi-doc AI agent. It works pretty well, okay? It works pretty well. And here, if I want to see, let's say, I want to generate a summary of this doc, I can select it right here, and then I'm gonna get here the summary, okay? It's pretty cool, pretty cool, guys, okay? Amazing. Now you can see it works pretty well, okay? We have here the manager agent that allows to lead other sub agents, okay? It works pretty cool. Now, in order to build this, you have to follow this structure right here. This is the architecture, guys, that I use, okay? You can try to copy this and try to implement this later on in order to practice, okay? It's pretty cool. And try to use context offloading. Don't forget to create a tool that allows the agent to read a file and a tool that allows the agent to write a file, okay? That's all you need in order to build this, okay? Alright, guys, now we're gonna work on the backend chat input that allows us to upload an image. Once you upload an image, you're gonna send it to the image reader so that the image reader can analyze it and return what it sees on the image to the manage agents, okay? Now I'm going to head into in here. We're gonna head into the API folder, and right here we're gonna pass here a folder upload image, and inside of it we're gonna pass here upload a TS. We're gonna pass in a function that allows us to upload an image, and here's our allowed extensions type: PNG, JPEG, JPG, and WebP. And here I'm passing you the function. We pass you the file. Now we are going to head into the root.ts, and then we're gonna invoke the function. And in here you can see I'm checking if we don't upload an image, we're gonna throw an error. And if we upload an image, we are going to call that function right here, upload image. And then we're gonna upload our image inside the public folder. Yeah, we're gonna head into the public folder, and then we're gonna pass here another folder images, okay? Now I'm going to go back inside the chat input, and inside the chat input I'm passing a component. You can see we have here an input upload file button. Okay, you can see here's the input, and right here you can see we have here this first button that allows us to pop up the add source model, and this is the button right here. Let me show you. This is the first button here, and we have here another button that allows us to upload an image. You can see here's the button here. Now what I'm going to do in here, guys, I'm going to pass here, I'm gonna add here to property. I'm passing the trigger file input. This is the function, and I'm passing you the input file. It's gonna be an HTML input tag, and then I'm passing here. I'm gonna type it. Now I'm gonna pass you the input file, and here we're gonna pass here the function on click event. We are going to pop up the we're gonna pop up a window that allows us to select an image. Now I'm going to head into the chat input. And right here, guys, I'm going to pass a function show image, okay, show select image. And here you can see passing the image is prop, and I use here memo in order to memorize it, okay, in order to cache these components. Now we're going to pass here euro, create object euro. We're going to pass it the image, and here we're going to pass it the button. It allows us to hide these components. Once we invoke the function, we are going to hide these components, okay? That's why I pass here this button. I'm gonna create now here another function that allows us to send this image on the server, okay? And inside of this function, we are going to pass in this function right here, upload image server, okay? We're gonna invoke the function in here. We're gonna pass it inside this component here, okay? Now I'm gonna go back inside the chat.ts, and then you can see this image. We pass it the image, and then you can see we pass to this function the image, the project ID, user ID. Now I'm pass here form data. We're gonna send you the image, project ID, user ID, and then we're gonna hit that endpoint API/upload image. Okay, and if we have native, we're gonna throw native. Okay, like this. Now I'm going to go back inside the upload file button. Yeah, we're gonna go back inside the chat input, and we're gonna continue working on the upload image components. And you can see this component text here, the project ID, user ID, selected image. This is a function, set markdown image URL. Okay, this markdown image URL, we're gonna use it in order to display the image in the chat box. You're gonna see that in action. We're gonna try to test this. Now I'm going to pass here the loading state. We're gonna pass here the file input ref, and I'm passing now handle image upload. And right here you can see we pass here the send image to server function. We pass it in here. Once we select a file, we're gonna send it to the server. And now we pass here the trigger file input function, and we pass here file input ref that current that click. Okay, this is gonna allow us to open the window in order to select an image. And then I'm passing you the function that allows us to send an image to the server. And once we have here this URL, I'm gonna pass you the base URL, and then I'm going to pass here a constant markdown URL is equal to this. Okay, we're gonna pass here this markdown URL, as I said before, in order to display the image in the chat box. And then we are going to call here a function set markdown image URL. Okay, we're gonna pass this, and then we are going to catch the edit if we have native, and finally we're gonna set the loading property to false. Okay, like this. Now I'm going to head into the chat input, and then we're gonna pass you these components. I'm going to move at the top here. First of all, I'm passing you two states, and some passing select image states, and I'm passing markdown image URL. Okay, we have here two states. We have a state that allows to display an image in an image tag, and we have here a state that allows us to get a markdown image URL. Okay, now in order to display the markdown image, I'm going to head into here the chat box here. We're gonna head into the chat box, and you can see we have the image, the message Bible components. Okay, now what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to head into first here inside the display markdown, and now we're gonna pass here display image markdown URL. Okay, this is the function that allows us to display a markdown image URL. Once we have a markdown image URL, we're gonna invoke these components. Okay, the markdown image URL looks like this. We have here image, and then we have here the URL. Once we detect here these formats, we are going to run the image. Okay, we're gonna pass here the image. This is the component, guys. And now I'm going to go back inside the message Bible, and then I'm not importing in here. I'm passing display image markdown URL, and then we're gonna pass the check if is a user message. We are going to we're gonna render this component right here. I'm gonna check if we inside the user message we don't have a markdown image URL. If we have it, we're gonna render it. Else we are going to display here the error message. Now I'm gonna go back inside the chat input, and right here I'm going to pass here now the component select image. I'm passing here the select image, and here I'm going to pass here on key down events. We're gonna send here the markdown image URL. We're gonna send it to the server, and we're gonna pass to the upload image component. We're gonna pass here the set selected image and the same markdown image URL function. Okay. Now let's head into the browser and try this. And yeah, you can see, guys, actually we don't display here these two buttons. And if I head into the upload file button, this is the component that allows us to display these two buttons. Okay, we have here two buttons, and I don't see them here. Maybe we don't pass here. I'm not heading to the upload image components. We don't pass that component right here. We don't return it right here. Okay, I'm not returning it. I forgot to return it. And we pass the project ID loading state, and we're gonna pass here an input tag. Okay, like this, and we pass it the handle image upload function. Okay, now if I head into the browser, you're gonna see something like this. We're gonna have here this. Okay, now let me try to select here an image. Okay, I'm selecting here an image. Okay, yeah, you can see actually we select here an image. Okay, we have here an image, and if we click here, we are going to remove it. Okay, and once we tap here something, we tap enter, we are going to send that image now here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to head into the chat I'm not heading to the chat box, and what I'm going to do in here, guys, let's go here. You can see we have here this send message function. Now I'm gonna pass here this, okay, and pass here this user message. You can see we have here this property. I'm not get rid of this. I'm not remove this here. You can see we have here user message constants. I'm going to pass here. I'm gonna pass to the send image function. We're gonna pass here the markdown image URL, and then we are going to remove this. I'm gonna comment this, and then I'm gonna uncomment this. You can see I'm gonna check if we have the markdown image URL. We are going to pass here. We're gonna send here the input plus the markdown image URL. Okay. Else, if you don't have the markdown image URL, we're gonna send only the value of the input. Okay, like this. And yeah, it's gonna work, guys. And let me explain you a little bit. You can see if I head into the chat inputs here, you can see we pass here the function here. Let me go at the top here. You're gonna see something. You can see in here, guys, once we have here text area tag, it takes area tag. Now, once we tap inner, we are going to pass here. We're gonna call here function send message, and you can see I pass here the markdown image URL. Once we tap inner, we're gonna pass in here. And if we don't have the markdown image URL, we're gonna send here now. And as we have here now, we are gonna send here the image. Okay, I think you get the idea, guys. Okay, now we're gonna head into the browser and we're gonna try this. And here I'm gonna pick an image. I'm gonna pick this one, and I'm pass here analyze this image. And I'm tap inner. You can see pass here an image, and actually the AI is analyzing it. And we're gonna wait a bit. You can see actually the AI is working. You can see actually we have here thinking. Okay, the user want me to finish directly. The image displays a handwritten start text line on plain white background reading chapter 5 multi-vector retrieve. Okay, you can see actually the AI is pretty smart. It's read the image. Okay, if I pass here another image, it's gonna read it, and then it's gonna analyze it. Let me pass here another image right here. Let me pass this, and I'm pass here analyze this image. Okay, I'm tap in again. Let's try to see what we're gonna get in here. Actually, the AI is analyzing the image. Okay. Yeah, you can see actually finish analyzing the image. Yeah, you can see it start describing what it sees on the image. Okay, that's good. It's finished, guys. Okay, pretty cool. Yeah, you can see, guys, the AI finished working. You can see we have here the data. Okay, the AI extract all details from the image. Okay, everything is working pretty well. And if you want to try this, you have to use this. You can see when we pass the image to the LLM, to the main agent passed the image to the image reader, and then the image reader is going to analyze it. Now, if I head into inside the image reader tool, you can see this is the image reader tool. You can see here's the tool right here, guys, and I pass here the API key, and then I take here the image because the LLM is going to pass the base URL of the image, and then here we are going to convert the image to base 64 string, and right here I'm using chat fireworks, and I pass here a vision model, and I pass here queen free. This is the name of the model, and then I pass here an array of message, new human message, and pass the contents, and I pass here prompt, and here I pass here the type here image URL, and then you're gonna pass here the base 64 image string. Then you're gonna invoke here the model, and once you invoke the model, the LLM is gonna return summaries of the image. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, that's great. Now what we're gonna do next, guys, we are going to take a screenshot of a PDF. Okay, we're gonna take a screenshot on a PDF. Let's say here I move in here, and let me click here on, yeah, I'm gonna click right here. And then you can see we have a list of documents. Let's say I want to view this one. And if I head into PDF, you can see we have here this doc. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to adhere a snipping tool. You can see we have here, we have images on doc. Okay. You can see we have here this image. Let's say you want to take a screenshot of this image here and then passes it to the LLM so that the LLM can explain you more, can give you more details about it. Okay, now you can see we can use here snipping tool. You can see you have the possibility to select here this region right here, and then we're gonna take a screenshot. And once we take a screenshot, we're gonna pass the screenshot to the LLM. Okay, you can see right here I have here a screenshot. Let me increase the zoom right here. You can see this is the screenshot that I pass here. Okay, and I pass it right here. If I head into PDF viewer, you can see once I take a screenshot, I pass the screenshot to the image tag here. Okay, now in order to implement this feature, we're gonna use here this package that allows us to take a screenshot. Okay, now you're gonna install HTML to image. Okay, and then you're gonna get it. Okay, and you can see we have here the code. They explain how to use it. Okay, we have here all the code. I copy all the code right there, and then I pass it into this component right here. Use snipping tool. Okay, I put everything here, guys, and then we got that. Okay, now inside the PDF viewer, I import that composable right here. Use snipping tool. And then you can see we have it here. I extract here these functions, and then I pass it to this div where we pass the PDF view. Okay, I pass here on mouse down, on mouse move, on mouse up, and then once we click here, you can see we pass here another button at the top here. You can see we have here a little button. Yeah, you can see we have this button right here. Let me show you. You can see, yeah, this button right here. If I click on it, we are going to get into the snip mode. We're going to pass it, the value is going to be to true, and then we're going to have the possibility to take a screenshot. Okay, now guys, we're going to head into the chart slice. I'm going to head into the chart slice. Okay, now let me explain this clearly. So you can see here, guys, we have the PDF viewer components, and we have here the chart input components. Now we need to pass the image from the PDF viewer component to the chart input. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take here the image, I'm gonna pass it into the chart slice, and then from the chart slice we're gonna pass it to the chart input. Okay, that's how we're gonna do that, guys. Okay, now we're gonna head into the chart slice, and here I'm gonna pass here snipping state. Okay, we're gonna pass in here. Okay, snipping file, we're gonna pass the type is gonna be a blob. Okay, and then I'm pass here the snipping file. We are going to pass here an action, set snipping file. Okay, we're gonna pass here state the snipping file is equal to the payload. Okay, and now we're gonna take here the set snipping file, we're gonna export it. Okay, we're gonna pass in here. Now I'm going to head into the PDF viewer, and in here, guys, what I'm going to do, you can see we have here the blob. Okay, this the blob file, this the blob here is where we're gonna put the image, the blob image. We're gonna take it, and then I'm passing use effects, and here we're gonna pass here blob. If we have value inside the blob variable, we are going to take the value, we're gonna pass it to the slice. Okay, inside the slice we have a snipping file. Okay, we're gonna pass it there. And once we pass it there, we are going to head into now the chart inputs, and in here we're gonna create right here a state here, blob image to file. We're gonna take this blob image, we're gonna convert it to a file, and then here I'm going to pass here now use state. I'm gonna extract it, and then we are going to pass here use effect. We're gonna check here if we have value. If we have value inside the snipping file variable, I'm going to pass here. I'm gonna check here if we have value. We're gonna pass the value to the state, to the select. We're gonna pass here the value. Okay, we're gonna pass the value to the selected image, but also we're gonna pass the value to the blob image to file state. We're gonna pass here the value. Now we're gonna pass here variable blob image to file is equal to new file. We pass here the blob image, and we pass here the name snip image, the PNG. Now I'm gonna take here the blob image to file variable and pass it to the set blob image file state. Okay, like this. And now we are going to pass to the upload image. We're gonna pass it to prop blob image to file, and we're gonna pass it the set blob image to file. Okay, and now I'm gonna pass it this prop. Okay, like this. And then what we're gonna do, guys, we are going to check here if we have here data, if inside the blob image to file, constant we have there, we are going to send this image to the server. And once we send this image to the server, we're going to get access to it in the chat box. Okay, that's how it works. It's pretty simple, guys. If you practice, you're going to understand. Okay, now we're going to head into the browser, and you can see we have here a list of doc. I'm going to select here this doc here, and I'm going to move right here. I'm going to move right here. Okay, you can see we have here this image here. I don't understand it pretty well, but I can tell the LLM to give me more explanation about it. Now I'm going to take it a screenshot, and then once I take it a screenshot, I'm going to ask the LLM to give me more explanation. I'm passing explain me this image. Okay, I'm passing about generative AI, and then I'm tap enter. You can see the LLM is going to start working, and then it's going to give us the explanation about this image. You can see, guys, that actually the AI is analyzing the image. I'm going to reduce here the width. You can see actually the AI finished analyzing the image, and the AI is giving me more explanation about it. You can see that's pretty cool feature that we just added inside of our app. Pretty cool. Now the AI is explaining me this. Okay, beautiful. Alright, guys, now I'm going to add another feature in chat input. You can see inside the chat input we have a list of generated questions by the LLM. Now we're going to use here this list of generated questions in order to understand our document better. If I can select here this question, and then we can pass it to the manager agents, and then the manager agents can give me a response. Now, how are we going to generate these questions? Now, to generate these questions, you can see at the left we have two projects. We have path and receipt projects. Okay. Once I select the projects, we are going to load here the child history, and also we're going to load here the bottom a list of questions generated by the LLM based on this document right here. Now we are going to follow this. You can see here. Once we select the projects, we are going to retrieve these documents, and then we're going to pass to the LLM, and then the LLM is going to generate us these questions. Now you can see we have here this endpoint right here, API/agent/child history. This endpoint allows us to fetch the child history. Okay, you can see we have here a message array, and if I scroll at the bottom here, you're gonna see we have here a list of generated questions based on these documents. Okay, now in order to get that, we are going to head into the child history, and inside the child history, we're gonna head into API/agent/child history, and in here you can see we have here the user ID and project ID. Now I pass here to get suggested questions tool. You can see it takes here 3 parameters. We pass here the user ID, project ID, and the LLM. Then here, we are going to use a function in order to retrieve here a list of documents related to the user ID and project ID. And once we have here these documents, we are going to stringify these documents. And then we're going to take here these documents, we're going to pass it to this function. Generate suggested questions. We pass here the LLM, but also we pass here doc list. And then here's the prompt. You are generating suggested question for a chat interface, similar to Notebook LM. And then we pass here the goal. Generate exactly 6 useful questions that help a user explore and understand the provided document. And then the AI is going to generate us a list of 6. Questions. And once we have here these questions, we are going to put it inside a file here. You can see inside the public folder, I pass here another folder, suggested questions, and then we're gonna pass in here, and here, in order to retrieve these questions for a given projects, we're gonna use the user ID and project ID. Okay, we're gonna retrieve here this. Okay, and then we're gonna get here that. Okay, you can see this is an object. Okay, we're gonna use the user ID and project ID in order to retrieve questions for a given projects. And at the top here, guys, you can see we have here a function that allows us to write this question in the file. You can see write suggested questions to file. Okay, and here guys, here's how it works. Let me give you more explanation about that. You can see we have here this tool that allows us to generate a list of questions. Now, once we generate these questions, we're gonna take it and then we're gonna put it inside a file, a JSON file. Okay, and again, if we request these questions, we hit the chat history endpoint. We are going to check if we have here these questions in the file. We're gonna return it. If we don't have these questions in a file, we are going to use the LLM in order to generate a list of questions, and then we are going to return it to the user, and then we're gonna take this list of questions, we're gonna put it inside a file, so that later, if we need these questions, we're gonna retrieve it immediately from the file instead of using the LLM in order to generate them. Okay, that's how it works. It's pretty simple. Okay, you can see in here we have a list of questions. It's pretty simple, guys. Now, what I'm going to do next, I'm gonna head into the chat input. I'm gonna pass in our component suggested questions. Okay, it takes here a prop, it takes here two props, the questions, but also it takes here a function that allows us to select a question. Okay, now I'm gonna head into the chat input, and then we're gonna import that component right here, and we're gonna pass here these questions. Okay, you can see I pass here some questions, and we're gonna get something like this. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take here these questions that we have here in this array. I'm going to pass it in here. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these questions right here. And then pass here questions, something like this. We are going to pass here a prop. I'm going to go ahead and tap here. And you can see here the chat input. We're going to pass here another prop here. Okay, chat input props. And I'm passing you these questions. It's an array of questions. I'm passing you a string like this, okay? Like this, guys. And now, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go back inside the chat box, okay, like this. Now, inside the chat box, you can see we have here get chat history. If I click here, you can see we have here this type, chat message. And now I'm passing another type, and we're gonna pass here questions. This is gonna be an array of string. Pass here questions like this, tap this, okay, like this, guys. And now we're gonna head into the chat slice, and what I'm going to do in here, we have here the chat states. For the chat states, I'm passing questions. The type is gonna be a string. We're gonna copy here the states. We're gonna pass it right here like this. Initial value is gonna be an empty array. And now we're gonna move here to the create a sync function. Okay. Now I'm going to remove here the type, and I'm going to take here a type right here. We're gonna take here the chat. Yeah, we're gonna take chat history return type. We're gonna copy this, and we're gonna pass it right here like this. Okay, this is the return type. Okay, like this. Okay, yeah, like this. Okay, we have here some errors like this, and now I'm gonna remove here the message. Okay, something like this, guys. Now let's import the type right here, and then we're gonna get rid of the typing error like this. Okay, yeah. Now the fetch history returns right here the message, but also it returns here the questions. Okay, I'm pass here that. Yeah, we're gonna pass here message, and I'm copy this again. We're gonna pass here now questions. I'm passing questions like this, and then I'm passing here questions. Now we're gonna head into the chat box, and then chat box, and then we're gonna extract here the message. Okay, I'm gonna move at the top. Yeah, you can see we have the message. Now we're gonna extract here the questions. Okay, like this. We're gonna copy that. We're gonna pass it to the chat input. Okay, like this, and we just finished. Now if I head into the browser, we're gonna see we have a list of questions. Now what I'm going to do next, guys, if I click here, I want to pass that question to the chat history. Okay, now I'm going to head into the chat input again, and right here you can see we have here the suggested questions. Okay, now what I'm going to do first, I'm going to move at the top. Here you can see the chat input component takes here a function send message, and we pass here the markdown image URL. Now I'm gonna convert that into an object. Okay, I'm pass this, and we're gonna pass here question. It's gonna be a second parameter. I'm passing question like this. The type is gonna be a string, and here the question can be undefined, and I'm passing here props like this. Okay, something like this. Now I'm gonna scroll a little bit, and then we're going to pass you pass here an object, and here let me check here at the bottom. We're gonna pass here to an object like this. Okay, we're going to move to the suggested questions, and right here I'm going to pass you a function. You can see we have a function on select. I'm gonna copy it, and then we're going to head into the chat input. We're gonna pass it right here is equal to pass a question like this. The type is string, and then we're gonna pass it in here and pass here. Let's see the name of the function. Let's see again here, send message. Okay, this is the function that I'm gonna pass there. Okay, I'm gonna pass here a question, a second parameter, and pass a question like this. Okay, good. Now we're going to head into the chat box, and inside the chat box we're going to pass to the send message function. We're gonna pass it an object. I'm gonna go right here, and you can see actually pass here string. Now I'm gonna pass here an object like this. We pass it the markdown image euro and pass it the question. Now I'm going to extract the markdown image euro and the question from the props object, and then we're gonna pass it in here like this. Now let's head into the browser and try to pick here a question. Okay, now I'm going to pick here a question like, I'm gonna pick here this. Okay, we just push it to the chat box, and then let's try to see. Actually the AI start working, and then we're gonna get an answer. Okay, let's wait a bit and see. Okay, yeah, you can see actually we have here the thinking of the AI. Okay, AI is working. Let's wait a bit. Yeah, you can see actually start generating the answer. Okay, great. That's great, guys. Okay, let me see the question about defense methods. Okay. Alright guys, now I'm gonna add memory to our system so that you can remember previous interaction. Guys, before we moving on, I just want to inform you that this section requires a lot of theories and practice. You need to have basics, or you need to know types of memory that exist in agentic system. Now, if you don't have these basics, head on LongTerm, head into memory, and read a little bit here. You're gonna learn about short-term memory and long-term memory. Okay, they explain everything, how to do it, guys. Okay, they explain everything. I'm gonna create a course about this. Okay, this is not a course. Or you can just head on Google and then you're gonna type here types of memory. They're gonna explain you how they work. Because I don't want to get into the details, guys, because I assume you know how to create a multi-agent system. If you know how to create a multi-agent system that looks like this, you can create a manage agents, and then the manage agents can have you two sub-agents, and these sub-agents can have you too. Let's say this sub-agent here has a tool that allows it to create a file and a tool that allows it to read a file. This here, it has a tool that allows it to go on internet and grab data. Now you can create a system prompt that instruct the manager to call this agent here, and then it's gonna take, let's say, some information and put it inside a file. Let's say if the user say, my name is Ben, I'm going to take here this. I'm say, as the user say, my name is Ben. Now I have here a sub-agent that allows to manage the memory. Now I'm gonna call the sub-agent, and then the sub-agent is gonna take the username and then it's gonna put it inside a file. Okay, if you know how to create a simple system, you're gonna understand how this system works. Okay, you need to have the basics of knowing how to create a multi-agent system. Okay, something like this. Now you can see here, guys, we have here the manager agents. Okay, and now I'm going to take here this manager agents. I'm gonna take him as a sub-agent. We're gonna pass this manager agent as sub-agent to this agent here. We're gonna create another agent that we're gonna call the main agent. Is the context aware agents. In here I should pass the agents. Okay, now once we send a message, this agent, it's gonna try to think about the user message and decide if it can call this agent here. If it doesn't call this agent, it can try to interact with the user. Let's say it can store the username preferences in the memory in the long-term memory or short-term memory. The agent is going to decide based on the user input. Now you can see here it is a short-term memory tool and long-term memory tools. Now you can see we have here some tool. Okay, read tools, write tools, compression tools. Compression tool allows the agent to compress the memory. Let's say in the memory we have 2K tokens. Okay, the memory is growing. Now the agent is going to detect that. If the agent detects that, it's going to compress the memory. It's going to run a summarization middleware in order to compress the memory. It can compress it, let's say, to 0.5K tokens. Okay, and then the agent is going to continue chatting with the user. And if the memory grows again, it's going to compress it. Here we have some tool. This tool here allows to compress the long-term memory. And at the left here, we have a tool here that allows to compress a short-term memory. Okay, now I'm going to explain you how they work. Okay, we're going to integrate this into our system. And guys, make sure you have basics or you know how to create a simple multi-agent system that looks like this. Okay, because everything in here is about theories of memory and about prompts. Okay, now you can see here in the multi-doc, I'm now heading to the multi-doc agent here, and here we have here the tools folder, and inside the tools folder we have memory. Okay, we have here memory. I just added a folder in here, and you can see we have here the compression tools. The agent can call these tools in order to compress the memory. You can see we have here summarization. Okay, when the agent needs to summarize the message, it can use the tool. Okay, you can see we pass here the LLM, and then pass here a system prompt and use a message, and then the LLM can summarize it and return it to the main agents. We have here a tool that allows the agent to extract key concepts into the user message. This is the tool. We have here a tool that allows to compress the short-term memory. Okay, compress short-term memory. We have here a tool. You can see I define here the max token. If the user message goes beyond here this max token, the agent can call here that tool in order to compress the memory. Okay, this is the usage. Okay, now if you can see in here, guys, we have a lot of code. All you need to know is to have basics. You can see you can't understand this right now, but what I can tell you guys is to have basic. You need to know how to create a system that code tools, and once you know how to create a system that code tools, now you can create a system prompt that instructs the main agent how to code these tools. Okay, and here you can see we have here now the system prompts, and we have here the retrieval relevant long-term memory tools. We have here this tool, and we have here short-term memory tool and vector memory tools. This tool allows to store long-term memory into the vector database. Now let's head into the system prompt and see how it works. You can see here's the system prompt that I use for the contest award agents. Okay, you can see pretty long here, pretty long, guys. I use ChatGPT in order to create the system prompt. It's pretty huge. Once you have the basics of memory, you know the theory, you can use ChatGPT to do that. Okay, you can see pass here UI conversational, the central orchestrator of question answering over multiple documents. Contest award AI assistance with explicit memory tools. Your primary responsibility is to answer the current user message clearly and intelligently. Short-term and long-term memory provide support but never replace the current message. You can see passes some core principles, and you can see the current user message is always the main truth source. Memory tools are used when they help improve the answer. Never claim you don't know something until after checking the memory. You can see in here, guys, for the third core principle, the agents cannot respond to the user immediately. First, it has to check the memory. Okay, once it finishes checking the memory, then the agents can continue. Okay, first of all, it has to check the memory. Now you can see we pass here the main reset agent as a sub agent. Now you can see He's the main reset agent. Okay, we pass here now this agent here. This agent was the main sub agent. Now we pass it as a sub agent to this agent here. Now this agent here, this context aware agent, it has many tools about memory with a single agents. Now in here I instruct the pass some description about the job of the main reset agent, what it does. I pass it to the agents. Then we have here details about each tool. This tool allows to read the short-term memory. This one allows to write into the short-term memory. I explain the agents how to call this tool. I explain the agents, and then I pass here few shots prompting, and yeah, we got the prompts. Now you can see if we head into in here, guys. If I head into research agents, okay. Now you can see. Let me head into manage agent. Okay, you can see this is manage agents. Okay, this is the manage agent. If we head into the stream folder, agent stream folder, you can see we pass in here. Okay, now I'm going to comment this, and then I'm gonna use this here, this memory and conversation agent. Okay, I'm gonna use this. You can see if I head into the manage agents, I pass here the another function, main reset agents. This is the function. Then I take here the manage agents, I pass it in here, and then I export it as a tool. And once we have the tool here, I'm gonna take it and then I'm pass it inside the memory agent. You can see I pass it in here. Okay, reset agents, and then I pass it right here, and I pass here all tools that allow us to manage the memory. Okay, pretty simple. And yeah, that all, guys. And I pass here a middleware that allows to control these agents. If this agent call this tool, we're gonna know. Now let's head into the agent folder. You can see stream folder, and in here, guys, what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to try this agent. You can see I comment here the manage agents. Okay, now I'm gonna use here the memory and conversational agents. Okay, now let's try to see how it's gonna work. Okay, I'm gonna head into the browser and then we're gonna chat with it. Okay, let me close this, and now let me pass here something. Okay, I'm pass here hello, I'm iJambo, I'm pass here my name, and then let's see here. Yeah, you can see actually it calls the memory here. You can see it calls the memory. Okay, you can see my name is, this is the short-term memory. That's what we got inside the short-term memory. And then here you can see, let me head into in here inside the public folder. We can see we have here agents and short-term memory. Inside the short-term memory is where the agents pass some preferences by the user. Okay, last week I visited London. The user introduced themselves as iJambo. Let me pass here what is my name and try to see what we're gonna have here. What is my name? Let's see if you're thinking. And here your name is iJambo as you introduce yourself in the most recent message from the history. Okay, if we head into here, you can see it calls here again the chat history. Now let me pass here something. I love JavaScript, and pass here I love JavaScript, and yesterday I visit and pass I visit London. Let me tap this. Let's see again here. Yeah, you can see actually the agent summarize, the core summarization tool here. Okay, and then you can see core here to save vector memory. Okay, the user has a strong interest in JavaScript and recently visited London. They express enthusiasm and blah blah blah. The agent saved the data in the memory, guys. Okay, now let me pass here another input and pass here I love JavaScript and yesterday I visit London. Okay, I'm past that. Let's see in here. Okay, let's see, calls again save memory. You can see user loves JavaScript and visited London yesterday. Okay, yeah. You can see again here the agent respond here. Bypass your tags. You got it. You love JavaScript and visit London yesterday. I've saved the information to help you provide better content in the future. Okay, and here I can, let's say, let me pass here another input where I visit yesterday. I pass yesterday. Okay, yesterday. Let me pass you that input. You visit London yesterday. Okay, you can see we have here the inputs. Okay, now I'm going to pass here another input. You can see actually the agent here. I'm gonna modify this system prompt later. You can see the agent is passing here tag final answer. We have a final answer. Okay, we have here tags. Let's say, let me pass here other stuff. Yeah, you can see actually works. If I pass here questions related to retrieval, the main agent is gonna fetch data. Okay, now let me pass here what are LongTerm key components. If I pass this, you're gonna see it's gonna call here the main reset agent. You can see they call it immediately. Okay, executing two main reset agents. Okay, yeah, that's how it works. Okay, let's see actually thinking the fetching data. You can see retrieval agents. Guys, you can see actually works. You have to improve this and try to be better in system prompt. Okay, let me try to check here. You can see actually they call here the library and agents. Okay, yeah, let's wait a bit. Yeah, you can see actually they generate the answer. Okay, it works pretty well. Okay, it works pretty well, guys. And you can see, guys, it generated the answer. Okay, you can see we have here a gray answer. Okay, we have here are LongTerm's key feature, agents architecture, integration, planning and memory system, task execution, development efficiency. Okay, you can see that's cool, guys. Now what you have to do is to head on LongTerm, head into memory and read this theory. Okay, now once you understand this theory, you're gonna be able to create a memory system. And that's all, guys, for this section, and I see you in another one. Alright, guys, this is the second chapter. We're gonna learn how to build an editor using Titap. Titap is a package that we're gonna use in order to build our editor, because it offers the possibility to build our own extensions. So we can build AutoComplete extensions and then we can add it inside Titap, and it's gonna work pretty well. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Now, in order to build our editor, head on npmjs.com and you're gonna type here these commands. And you can see at the left here, it is a bunch of extensions. Okay. Now, I've already selected here some extensions that we're gonna use. First of all, you need to type here npm install titap/react. You're gonna install the starter kits extension. You're gonna install an extension in order to add highlights, underline, table. Yeah, we have here a bunch of extensions, guys. Now I'm gonna put the link down of this code in description, and then you're gonna copy paste, and then you're gonna get Titap. Okay, pretty cool, guys. Now we're gonna head on titap.dev.com. Okay, head on titap.dev, and then you're gonna head into color highlight button. Okay, head into in here, and then you're gonna copy here an editor. Okay, you can see we have here an editor. If I select here some text here, we have the possibility to add here highlight. Okay, if I head into code block button, we have here another example where we can add here a code block section here inside the editor. Okay, now I'm gonna go back, and then I'm going to pick here. I'm gonna select this. Okay, I'm gonna click here, copy, and then we're gonna head into the app folder. You can see inside the app folder, I've already passed here a text editor. This is a page that I pass here. What we're gonna use once we finish building our text editor, we're gonna pass it now inside. We're gonna pass it right here now. Okay, once we finish building it, we're gonna pass it in here. and we are going to use here this page. Okay, you can see inside of this page we have here editor here. Now I'm gonna head in. You can see we have here editor here, and then I'm do copy paste, something like this, and then I'm going to head into the browser and see what we can here. Yeah, actually we have an editor, and I'm going to comment this. I'm gonna comment this button. I'm gonna comment this too, and yeah, let me comment this to right here, guys. Okay, like this, and then let's head into the browser and see what we can here. Yeah, you can see actually we still have an editor. Now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm gonna make these components a client-side component. We're gonna pass here use client like this. Okay, once we pass here use client, it's gonna work. Okay, you can see this is our editor right here, guys. We have here an editor. Okay, now what we're gonna do next, we are going to add here some buttons. Okay, let's say we can add a button that allows us to add highlights, that allows us to underline a text. That's what we're gonna work on. You can see if I head into, let me head into, I'm gonna scroll a little bit. You can see if I head into heading button, you can see in here we have the explain how to add headings. Okay, let's say I select this. You can see heading 4, and if I click here heading 1, we're gonna add here heading 1. Okay, we're gonna convey the paragraph to heading 1. Okay, you can see it's pretty simple. We just do copy paste. Okay, now we're gonna go back inside our text editor, and what I'm going to do in here, guys, you can see we have here folder text editor. Okay, this is the page that we use in order to create our text editor, and once we finish creating our text editor, we're gonna put it inside the middle panel. Now I'm going to pass here something else. I'm pass here this code, and you can see pass here the editor components. I'm gonna get rid of this code at the top here. Now we're gonna head into the component folder, and then we're gonna pass here editor. Okay, you can see we have your editor folder. Now inside the editor folder we have editor.tsx. I haven't yet put in anything. Now, in order to create our text editor, we're gonna import here some extensions. We're gonna use extensions, Titap extensions that we're gonna use here. Now, I'm gonna pass here these extensions, and here you can see pass the starter kit, highlights, underline, table row, table cell, table header. These extensions right here, it allows to inject a table in a text editor. We have here placeholder, and we have here character count. It allows us to count characters in a text editor. And we have here an extension that allows us to inject an image in a text editor. Now what I'm going to do, I'm passing editor, and I'm passing editor ref. We're going to use here the editor ref in order to inject the text editor in DOM. Okay, now I'm going to pass here use editor composable, and then we're going to pass here immediately render false, and then we're going to pass here the extensions array. That's what they said in here, guys. If I go back here, you can see we need to pass here use editor, and then we're going to pass here immediately render false, and we're going to pass here the extensions array, and also going to pass here the contents. I'm not do the same thing, guys, the exact thing. I'm not going to change anything in here, guys. Pretty simple. Now we're going to pass here these extensions, and then I'm going to pass here the content. Okay, I'm passing h1, h2, and p tag like this. Now we're going to pass here, I'm going to check here if editor is, and if I'm going to return here now. And right here, we're going to pass the div, and then we're going to pass here editor, we're going to pass here and then we're going to pass here the editor to this div, and then pass here editor content like this. And now if we head into the browser, let's see what we can here. Let's move right here. If I refresh the page here, we're going to have here text editor. Yeah, you can see we have here text editor. Okay, here's our text editor right here, guys. Okay, it's pretty beautiful. Okay, now what I'm going to do next here, guys, I'm going to add here the editor toolbar. Okay, we're gonna add here editor toolbar. Okay, now I'm gonna create these components. We're gonna head into the editor toolbar, and for the toolbar we're gonna add it at the bottom. Now I'm gonna head into editor toolbar in here. Now we're gonna pass here, we're gonna import here some icons that we're gonna pass to the editor toolbar, and then we're gonna pass here another component, text menu. Now let me head into first the text menu, and then we're gonna pass here some buttons. Okay, we import here first icons, and then we pass here editor. We import here editor from Titap /React, and then text editor. We pass here the editor but also we pass here on close events. And here we have a function that allows us to apply let's say to apply underline. We can use the function in order to add a table in a text editor. You're gonna see it works. Now we're gonna pass here a little menu item, and then you can see pass here editor. You can see I pass here editor, and then this is the Titap editor. You can see we're gonna pass it in here when we're gonna import these components inside the editor.ts. And then in order to convert a text into a paragraph, we're gonna pass the editor, the chain, the focus, the set paragraph, the run. Okay, these methods are exposed by the Titap editor. Okay, now in order to convert let's say a p tag into an h1, we're gonna use here this function editor, the chain, the focus, the toggle heading level 1. If I pass here, we're going to convert editor to a p tag h2 tag. Okay, now I'm pass here we're gonna pass the editor, chain, the focus, toggle heading to level 2, level 3, and here we're gonna pass here another button here. You can see bullet list. Okay, when we click on the button, we're gonna add bullet list. Okay, we're gonna pass here editor, the chain, the focus. We're gonna pass the editor, the chain, the focus, the toggle bullet list. Okay, and then we're gonna add bullet list inside the text editor. Now I'm gonna pass here another button, numbered list. Okay, you can see you're gonna pass here editor, the chain, the focus, the toggle ordered list, the run. Okay, like this. And then we're going to pass here now a button that allows us to add a table. You can see we pass the editor, the chain, the focus, the insert table. You can see rows free, columns free, and here we have here another button that allows us to add a blue code. Okay, now I'm gonna pass here menu item. You can see we have here simply a button. Okay, that's great. We just finished here, and then I'm pass here to the divider. This is the divider. Okay, it's simply div. Now let's go back inside the flow. We're gonna go back inside the toolbar, and what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to import this menu, and then I'm passing here. Okay, like this. Okay, pretty cool. And now I'm gonna import here the toolbar icon. I'm gonna import that right here. Let me see here. Yeah, we have here the divider. Let's see. We need to pass here the toolbar icon. Okay, you can see this one is to a button. Okay, it's literally a button. You can see it's pretty simple, guys. Okay, everything in here I copied from Titap.dev. Okay, it's pretty simple. Now if I move here, you're gonna see we're gonna have something like this. You can see the bottom here, we have here little menu. Okay, now let me try to add here, let's say table. If I click here, table right here, yeah, let's add here table. Let me see right here. Okay, you can see our menu is right here. Let me try to convert this into heading 1. Okay, it doesn't work. Now in order to make it work, we're gonna head into the global.css. Okay, head into global.css, and right here you can see we have a global.css, and I'm passing some css pros middle, I'm passing outline now, I'm passing pros middle p, pros middle h1, pros middle h2, ul, ol, and blow code table, and we're gonna add here this stuff here, and then it's gonna look beautiful. Okay, you're gonna see it looks beautiful. Now let me refresh the page here again and see what we're gonna have here. Okay, you can see it works. And if I click here on table, we have here a table, and let me try to convert the introduction to Next.js tag. Yeah, you can see it works. Now let me show you something. If I head into the editor, let me head into the editor, and right here, guys, you can see we have here editor toolbar. Okay, if I head into editor toolbar, you're gonna see something like this. You can see we have here this button. Let me select it right here, and I'm gonna remove it. And then you can see we don't have here a button that allows us to add a table. Now I'm put it back. Okay, you're gonna see again. Yeah, you can see we have here now this button right here. Let me zoom. You can see we have here this button. If I click on it, we're gonna add here a table. Let me click right here. You can see we just added here table. You can see this table has 3 columns and 3 rows. Now what I'm going to do, if I come here and pass here, I need to add here 4 rows, and here I pass here 5 columns. It's gonna work, okay? And now let's go back right here, and let me try to pass here another table. I'm gonna click here on the button, and there we go. We just add here another table. You can see we have here 5 rows. We have here 5 columns, and we have here 3 rows. Okay, yeah, you can see it works pretty well. It works pretty well, guys. Okay, now you can see in here we have here these two. We pass here 37 words. We have an extension that allows us to count characters. Now let's go back here. You can see we have here editor.storage.character count.words. Okay, now in order to make it work, we have here, if I head into editor.ts, we have here these extensions. Okay, character counts. Okay, this is the extension. Let me show you. We have it at the top here. Okay, if you haven't already installed this, install this in order to count words in the editor. Okay, now you can see that actually everything is simple right here, guys. Okay, it's pretty simple. And we have here undo and redo button. If I click here undo, we're gonna remove here stuff. You can see if I click here redo, we're gonna add what we just removed. Okay, you can see if I click here again, it goes. If I click again, we add it again. And yeah, this is how we add it. Now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to remove here this button. Let me show you. You can see we have here this button that allows us to add a table. I'm gonna remove it. Okay, you can see it's gonna disappear right here. We don't have the button that allows us to add a table. Now I'm not heading to the editor folder, and I'm pass here another folder and pass here buttons, okay, like this. And now I'm pass here another component and pass here insert table, the TS6. And right here, this component is gonna allow us to specify the number of rows and the number of columns that a table is gonna have. Now we are going to pass here this. Okay, and pass here this component I've already created. And now we're going to head into the editor toolbar, and then we're gonna pass here that component. Okay, and pass it right here like this, and then I'm gonna import it. Let's import it. I'm gonna go to the top here. We're gonna import it. Okay, I'm passing here. Now let's head into the browser and see what we can here. Now you can see right here we have here this button. We don't show it. Okay, actually we don't show it. Let me import it again. At the top here, I'm not go at the top. Okay, I'm passing this name, and then I'm going to rename here these components. And let's head in, and you can see actually pass here editor. Okay, we pass here editor, and then right here we have some states. We have here state that allows us to open and hide these components, and we have here states to add rows and columns. Now I'm gonna go back inside the editor toolbar, and then I'm gonna pass in here. Let me get rid of this right here, and then we're gonna import it again. And now I'm gonna pass here editor. Editor is equal to editor. Yeah, I'm passing editor like this. Okay, now if we head into the browser, you can see we add here this table. Okay, you can see, and here you have the possibility to increase rows and columns. Let me pass here 5 rows, and here I'm pass here 5. Yeah, I'm pass here 6 columns. Okay, and then I'm click here insert. Let me try to remove it. I'm going to click here again, and then I'll click here delete, and we just remove it. Okay, that's great. Now in order to delete a table, I have passed here something. Let me explain you. I'm not scroll at the bottom. You can see we have here this button here in order to insert a table, and we have here button that allows us to delete a table. Pass here editor.chain, the forecast.delete table.run like this. Pretty simple, guys. Now we're gonna learn how to add here a table of contents. Okay, you can see if you head on Titap.dev, and you're gonna scroll at the bottom here, you're gonna see table of contents. Now we're gonna add that component too. Now in order to add here table of contents, you're gonna install this extension right here. Let me show you the name of the extension that you need to install in order to get these components. If I scroll at the bottom here, we need here an extension. Okay, let me see. Edit tab here. Yeah, I'm gonna click here, install. Yeah, you're gonna tap here npm install Titap extension table of contents. You're gonna install this, and then we're gonna have here something like this. Okay, now let me add it real quickly. I'm going to head into here. I'm not heading to my text editor right here, and then I'm copy it right here. Let me copy that. I've already passed here. I'm gonna copy that, and then I'm gonna head into the editor right here. Okay, we're gonna pass here table of contents and pass the table of content, the TS6, like this. Okay, like this, guys. I copy everything from here, guys. I don't create things here. Let me show you. You have to come here, and then you're gonna copy everything in here. Let me show you. You're gonna head into here, and then you're gonna copy contents inside the index.js6 in here and in here. You're gonna get in, and you're gonna copy here this. You're gonna come here and you're gonna copy this code, guys. Okay, it's pretty simple. You have to copy this code, and once you copy this code, you're gonna have a table of contents. Now I'm gonna head into the editor.ts, and then I'm gonna import this component, and then I'm pass here this extension that allows us to add the table of contents. Now I'm going to pass here table of content react the memo, and then I'm passing table of content the config. We're gonna pass the get index, and we're gonna pass here an update function. Okay, if I go back here, you're gonna see they do the same thing. You can see pass here table of contents, the config, pass the get index, pass here get hierarchical indexes. Okay, like this. You're gonna do that, and then we're gonna pass that component right here, table of contents, and then it's gonna work. Let's try to see. If I head into the browser, let me move right here. Okay, let me move right here. Yeah, you can see we have here a table of contents. Let me try to copy this. I'm gonna duplicate this, and now let's see what we're gonna have here. We're gonna update here the table of contents. You can see if I pass here again this, or if I type here something, you're gonna see we're gonna have it in here. Okay, yeah, our table of contents is working pretty well. Now what we're gonna do next, guys, we're gonna add something here. We're gonna add here the link extension, but also we're gonna add this. Okay, this little menu, we're gonna select here a text, we're going to show it up. Okay, and here I've already do that for you guys in order to speed up. Now you can see inside, if I head into here, I'm gonna head into the text editor. Now you can see the bottom here, we have here these components. If I click here on the table, you can see we have here this component that allows us to insert a table. We can specify the number of rows and number of columns. Now I copy that component inside the button, I copy it, and then I pass here another component, insert link menu. Okay, now we're going to use here this component in order to add link. And how it works, I'm gonna come here, and then I'm gonna select here something. Let's say I want to add here this link. I'm gonna select this, and then you're gonna see it's gonna pop up. Let me click here, let me pass you something, and then I'm gonna click here apply, and then you can see we just added here link. Okay, you can see we have here link. Now in order to make it work, you need to install an extension, and you can see actually in here I've already installed an extension. You're gonna tap npm install Titap extension link, then you're gonna pass to the starter key config, you're gonna pass the link, and then you're gonna pass here open on click false. You're gonna pass here this, and then it's gonna work pretty well. Okay, do that, guys. Also, I've already added here little menu. You can see if I select this, I have the possibility to pass here color. I can pass here this color, or I can pass here this, or I can pass here this color. Okay, yeah, it works pretty well. Let me select here this, and then I can pass here little color. Let me check here. It doesn't work. Yeah, it works pretty well, guys. Okay, it works pretty well. Now you can see here we have here this little menu. If I click here, we have here this, and if I click here H1, you can see we toggle to H1. Okay, and guys, in order to make it work, I copy here this. You can see we have here this little at bottom, this little menu at bottom. That's what I copy, you guys, and then I pass it in here. Okay, I've already explained how it works, and we have here undo redo. I've already explained you about undo redo. You can see the bottom here we have undo redo, and also I add here a little menu about AI feature. You can see if I click here on the button here, we have here edit with AI, we have here translate, improve, make longer, and make short. Okay, we're gonna learn how to build this feature because we don't have these features in the editor. Okay, we don't have this feature. We're gonna learn how to build it. Now I'm gonna explain you how this little menu works. You can see this is a floating menu component. I put it inside the editor. If we head into editor.ts, you can see we have here the floating menu. And the floating menu has a component inside of it. You can see we have here this panel right here that allows us to format the text. You can see if I click here, we show this text formatting menu. Now, this is the menu that I copied right here. You can see we have it at the bottom here. We have it at the bottom. Now I copy the same menu and then I put it inside the text formatting panel. You can see we have it in here, text formatting panel. And then I import the text formatting panel inside the floating menu. You can see text formatting panel. We pass here the editor and we pass here a AI open. Okay, yeah. I pass here a property that allows us to open this panel. Okay, you can see if I click here, let me click right here. You can see this is a state text formatting panel, and it is here a default value right here is equal to false. If the value is equal to true, we're gonna show it up. Okay, now I'm gonna go at bottom here, and you can see we pass here something like yeah, you can see pass here a open. I should pass here not value, and pass here show menu, and pass something like this as prop, and then we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get into the text formatting panel, and then we're gonna modify here the value. Okay, I should pass here show menu, and right here show menu. If the value is equal to true, we're gonna show it up. And you can see text here the editor, and then in order to invoke a specific function, we pass the editor.change the forecast that say paragraph. Okay, and then we're gonna convert our selected text to a paragraph. Okay, that's how it works. Yeah, you can see this is the text formatting panel. You can see if I select this, we're gonna have something like this, guys. Okay, we're gonna have something like this. Okay, you understand. Now we have here an AI menu. Okay, this is not a panel, it doesn't work actually. If I click here translate, it doesn't work. And let me head into again inside the floating menu, and you can see we pass here the A panel, and the A panel has the prop AI open. This is a state, the default value is equal to false. If I head into the A panel, let me scroll the bottom. You can see we have here this. I'm heading to A panel, and you can see inside the A panel we don't have anything here. Actually, things inside the A panel doesn't work. Okay, all these buttons in here doesn't work because we haven't yet created extensions. It doesn't work. Okay, now I'm gonna explain you another component in here. You can see we have here some button that allows us to apply highlight. Okay, you can see we have here these buttons right here. Okay, we have yellow, red, green, and another color right here. This button here, it allows us to apply highlight. And here, you can say pass here function. Yeah, we pass here on execute. We pass here highlight, and we pass here the value of the color. Now, let me explain you how it works. If we head into the text editor, you can see that actually we pass the floating menu. We pass here a function on execute, and then we pass here the command but also the value. Okay, the command here is like, let me head into the floating menu. The command is the formatting that I want to apply to a text. Let me head into in here. Okay, I'm gonna click here. Let's go back inside the editor, and then you can see pass here handle command. Okay, we have here this function that allows us to check the command. Let's say the name of the command is equal to highlight. We are going to apply highlight. You can see pass the editor change the forecast that toggle highlight. Okay, we're gonna apply highlight, and then we pass here the value. Now you can see if I go back inside the floating menu, you can see in here, guys, we pass here. Yeah, you can see in here we pass here the value highlight. Okay, as the value is equal to highlight, we're gonna check it. If the value is equal to highlight, we are going to apply highlights. That's how it works. And in here you can see we invoke the function, we pass here the command but also the value, and then here we pass here this function here the command, and then right here you can see we pass it the command, the value, but also the editor. And then here, once we detect here highlight, we are going to apply this. If we detect italic, we're going to apply italic. Okay, That's how it works. Okay, you can see pretty simple. If I select here test like this, and then I click here, I click here italic, you can see we apply italic. If I select here bold, we're gonna apply bold. That's how it works. Pretty simple, pretty simple. Now what we're gonna do next, we're going to head into the text editor. You can see if I head into the page, the TX6 is where our editor is located. Okay, we import it in here. Now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to copy it, and then we're gonna head into the middle panel, and we're gonna pass it in here. Okay, I'm gonna pass it the editor, and then we're gonna pass it inside the middle panel like this. Now if I head into the browser, you're gonna see actually we have here the text editor. Okay, let's where to be. Yeah, you can see actually we have here the text editor. You can see we have the text editor, and here we have here the table of contents. If I pass here, let's say I pass here chapter 1, we're gonna talk about prompt engineering technique. You can see it changed automatically. If I go ahead and pass here chapter 2, we're gonna be talking about autonomous agents. Okay, like this. And then if I select it and then I pass here heading 1, you can see we have here chapter 2. It works pretty well. Now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to hide this table of contents. You can see we don't have a lot of space in here, guys. We don't have a lot of space. Okay, now you can see the bottom here. We have here this little button at the bottom here. Now once we click on it, we're gonna show the table of contents. If we click again, we're gonna hide the table of contents. Now to do so, I'm gonna head into the store folder, and inside the store folder we're gonna pass here another file editor slice. Now inside the editor slice, I'm gonna pass here a state here, short table of contents. The default value is gonna be false here. Then you're gonna pass here toggle table of contents. Once we invoke the function, we're gonna modify the value to true. If we invoke it again and the value is equal to false, we're gonna modify the value to true. Now we're gonna pass here table of contents. We're gonna head into the index.js, and then we're gonna pass here this slice. Okay, pretty well. Okay, now what we're gonna do, I'm going to head into the chat input. Yeah, I'm not heading to the chat box. I'm not copying something. Chat box. Okay, in here we're gonna copy use dispatch hook. You can see we have here use dispatch hook and use select hook. And then I'm gonna copy here this one. I'm copy this one here, and then I'm gonna put it inside the toolbar. Okay, we're gonna head into the editor. Now you can see we have here the editor, and we have here editor toolbar. Okay, this is the editor toolbar, and you can see at the bottom here we have here this button here. Okay, let me see here the value editor chain toggle bold. Okay, let me check again. Yeah, I'm now trying to delete it and see what we're gonna have in the browser. Okay, you can see we delete it. Let me put it back. If I put it back, we're gonna have something like this. Yeah, you can see we have here this. Let me try to get rid of this. Yeah, we don't have here something. Let's see here, guys, what we're gonna have here. Actually, we have an header. We're gonna head into the editor toolbar, the TS6, and then we're gonna fix the header. Actually, we have here an header. Okay, let me check here. Yeah, I'm not refresh the page because I don't see an header inside the editor toolbar. Okay, we don't have an header, guys. And yeah, this is the button that I was talking about. Okay, this one right here. Okay, let me try to delete it. Okay, you can see we have here this button here. Okay, if I scroll, we're gonna scroll the bottom. You can see we have here undo redo. Okay, you can see at the left here I don't see it pretty well. Let me hide this. You can see after this we have here this button here. Now let me pass here, let me go to the top here, and then I'm pass here use dispatch hook like this, and then we're gonna import it. Okay, we're gonna import it in here, and I'm gonna import here app dispatch hook. Let me copy first this, and then we're gonna pass it right here. Okay, I'm going to pass here on click event. Now we're gonna pass here another function. I'm going to pass here this. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna pass it dispatch, and then we're going to go ahead. we're gonna head into the editor slice. We're gonna copy here the function toggle table of content. I'm gonna copy that, and then we're gonna head into the editor toolbar, and then we're gonna pass it right here like this. Okay, great. Now we're gonna import it, and then it's gonna work. Okay, like this. Okay, we import it, and right here we have a typing error. Okay, like this. We're gonna go again inside the chat box, and then inside the chat box, I'm gonna copy here now, use selector hook, because we need to get access to the value. We're gonna copy this, and then we're gonna head into the editor. Okay, right here, and you can see at the bottom here we have here the table of contents. I'm gonna pass here the value. Okay, I'm going to move here, and then I'm gonna pass here. I'm passing here, right here, we're gonna pass here editor like this, and then we're gonna get access to the value. I'm gonna get rid of this value right here. Yeah, we're gonna get access to the state, and here I'm passing table of contents. Yeah, let me go back here, editor slash. Okay, like this. We're gonna copy here this value right here. We're gonna go back again inside the editor, and then we're gonna pass it here like this. Okay, like this, and I'm going to import here now this. We're gonna import here, use select hook. We're gonna import the root states. And then we are going to scroll at the bottom here. We're gonna pass here the value. Okay, you can see we have a table of content. Now I'm passing here condition. Let me do this. Now I'm passing condition, and then we're gonna pass here table of content. If table of content is equal to true, we are going to show this. Okay, I'm gonna copy this. If the value is equal to true, we can pass here this. If the value else, we're gonna pass here nothing. Okay, something like this. And there we go. We just finished, guys. Now let's try this. I'm gonna head into the browser, and then we're gonna try this. I'm gonna refresh the page here. You can see actually we have here an error. Short table of content isn't undefined. And we have here typing error. Maybe at the top here we have a typo. Okay, we can see pass here table. Okay, like this, and then we're gonna remove the error. Now, if I go back here, you're gonna see we're gonna have here the table of content, and yeah, you can see we have here the table of content. And actually, let me try to click here. You can see we show the table of content, and if I click again here, it disappears. You can see actually works pretty well. Okay, now we're gonna learn how to create an extension. You can see if I click on the button, we pop up this model, we pop up this little menu. If I click here, translate, we're gonna replace here the existing text here with a new one, and that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna learn how to create an extension. Now I'm gonna head into the text editor folder. You can see I've passed here extensions, and in here we have AutoComplete.ts and refresh.ts. We're gonna head into refresh.ts. Now in here I'm gonna import here editor and the extension class in order to create the extension. Now we're gonna define an interface, refresh commands, and then we pass here the editor. We pass here editor states in order to get the current editor states. We pass here editor view in order to manipulate data inside the text editor. Now I'm gonna pass here extension that create. We're gonna pass the name of the extension. We're gonna pass here function that allows us to create our customer commands. And here you can see I return here a function, and then we pass the editor state and view. Now I'm gonna get here the current cursor position and the next position. We pass here state.selection. Okay, once I pass this, I'm gonna get access to the current and the next position of the cursor. Now I'm going to pass here simulation data. You can see if I select, let's say this, and then I apply here translate, we're gonna modify it. We're gonna pass here this mark data. Okay, and then I'm pass here editor that change the forecast that delete selection. We're gonna delete the data that we select, and once we delete it, we're gonna append a new one. And in here you can see simulation data. This is the simulation data. I convert it into an array, and then I'm gonna iterate through, and then we're gonna start appending new data. And here we're gonna pass here view state that transaction that inserts. We're gonna insert new data. Okay, and then pass the current position. And then here I'm gonna add a marker. I'm gonna explain you what is a marker, because in order to understand this stuff you have to read this API. I guess it's pretty huge. I can't explain you everything. I can't. It's pretty huge, guys. In order to understand it pretty well, you need to read this API. Okay, if you tap console.log states, you're gonna see we have a lot of property. And yeah, we have a lot of property, guy. Okay, now I'm gonna explain you this. I want to finish creating the extension to see how it works, and then I'm gonna come back to explain you again. And here you can see we pass here view that dispatch in order to insert data. Okay, now let me show you first how it works, and then I'm gonna come back. Now let me select here this button. Okay, I'm select this button, and now we're gonna head into the editor like this. And right here, I'm going to pass here something. I'm pass here refresh. Let's pass here refresh. And pass here refresh. Yeah, we're gonna pass here refresh. This is the name of the extension, and then we're gonna import it. And now I'm pass here button. And pass here button. Once we click on it, we're gonna refresh. You can see on click event, we're gonna pass the editor that change the focus, and then we're gonna pass here that refresh. This is the name of our extension. And then you're gonna see what we're gonna get. Now let's try to run this and see what we're gonna get here. Now I'm gonna select here methodologies, and then if I click here on the button at the top, we pass here button at the top here. We don't see it. Let me refresh the page here. We're gonna see a button. Let's see. Yeah, you can see we have a button. Now let me click on it and select this again here, and then I'll click here refresh. Yeah, you can see this how it works. Okay, this how it works. You can see once we select a test, we're gonna replace it with a new one. And you can see if I select here again this and click here refresh, you can see this how it works, guys. Now let me go back to explain you how it works. Okay, because you already see the results. Now let me explain it again. Now you can see in order to create an extension, we need to pass here extension that creates. We pass here the name of the extension, and then we pass here a command. Okay, our custom commands. I pass here add commands. This is a function, and then we're gonna return here an object. I pass here refresh. It takes here the editor, and it takes the state of the editor, but also we have here a property that allows us to modify data in the editor. Now, in order to understand how the state property works, okay, you need to tap here. You need to practice. You need to tap here console.log.state. You pass your state, and then you're gonna get something like this. You're gonna see how it's structured, and then you're gonna understand it. Okay. Once you understand it, you can tap here again. View, you're gonna see the API of it, how it's structured, and then you're gonna try to read a little bit, and then once you understand, you're gonna be able to modify things. And then right here, you can set pass a state that selection. Okay, in order to get access to the selection. Now extract here the current position, okay, and the next position, okay, from 2. And then I'm extracting also the empty property in order to check if we don't select anything. If we don't select anything, we're gonna return here false. Now we pass here the simulation data. The simulation data is the data which is gonna be returned by the AI. They're gonna pass that we're gonna use in order to replace the selected test. Okay. Now once we call the function, first of all, we are going to remove the selected test. Okay, we pass the editor chain, the focus, delete selection. We're gonna delete the selection. Once we delete the selection, after some seconds here, you can see I call here sleeps. After 5 milliseconds, I'm gonna call here this. I'm going to pop up. I'm going to remove an item inside the words array. You can see we pass the simulation data, pass that split, we convert it into an array, then we pass in a variable current position of the cursor is equal to from, then I iterate through the words array, then I pass the chunk is equal to word, and then plus empty, and then we pass here view that state, that transaction, and then we're gonna insert here new text. Okay, and then pass the current position. Okay, this how it works. Very easy. If you read the API, in order to understand this, try to type console.log states and view. You're gonna see the API how it is. Read it, and once you read it, you're gonna understand how it works. And then you can say pass here a marker. A marker allows to modify something in the text editor, maybe the style. Let me show you. If I comment this, okay, in here I'm adding a arlic. You can see arlic. You pass the arlic. It states the schema that marks that arlic that create. You can see in here, if I come here and let me select here this, and then I'm gonna click here. You can see actually I'm applying here arlic. This arlic, you can see I have the possibility to remove it. Now, as I don't pass here the transaction that I marker, I'm not gonna apply arlic, okay? And here you're gonna see again here, let me show you. You're gonna see if I select this and then I click here, actually you can see we don't apply arlic, okay? Now I want to apply arlic to make a difference, okay? Now I'm gonna put it back, okay, something like this, and then I pass the view that dispatch, we're gonna insert data, okay, and we pass here away the sleep in order to add this little animation, okay. You can see this how it works. It's pretty simple, guys. And to understand this better, you need to understand the state API, okay. Now we're going to head into the AutoComplete. We're gonna create here a second. We're gonna create a second extension. Now I'm going to pass here the extension. I pass here the name AutoComplete, and for the AutoComplete, let's say writing right here. I'm typing something. If I made a pause, they're gonna suggest me something. Okay, the A can suggest me something. Now, in order to create it, we're gonna do this. Okay, and pass here this. Add options. I'm defining some state. After 3 seconds, they're gonna suggest us something, and here we're gonna pass it storage, ghost test, and suggestion position, and pass here add pros plugin, and then we're gonna create here new plugin, and then autocomplete ghost. This is the key, and right here we're gonna pass here decoration the widgets, and then we are going to insert here the ghost test. Okay, the ghost test has a gray color. We're gonna insert it by using here this line. Now I'm gonna pass here handle key in order to handle the key tab in order to get access to the key. If I type tab, we are going to insert a new text. Okay, you're gonna see that, and then if you detect here tab, we're gonna insert new data. Okay, now I'm going to copy this. This is the extension. We're gonna pass it to the extensions array. Now let's head into the browser in order to try this. And here I'm going to pass here hello. Let me pass here hello. And if after 3 seconds, we're gonna have here, yeah, you can see we have here an autocomplete. You can see we have an autocomplete. This text, we're gonna replace it with server data. Once the AI generates something, we're gonna pass it to the extension. Okay, if I tap inner, and here if I tap here again hello or whatever, we're gonna have here an autocomplete. Okay, I'm tap again tab. After 3 seconds, if I don't tap anything, we have here an autocomplete. Okay, if I click here, we got it, we got data. Okay, and if you want to remove the data, you can remove it, or you can click here undo, they're gonna remove it. Okay, you can see again I'm gonna add it. Okay, after 3 seconds, if I tap here something, after 3 seconds, they're gonna add it. They add it, and if you want to remove it, you can just click here undo. Okay, you can see pretty simple. If I select this and I apply here refresh, you can see we add it, and if I click here undo, we remove it. Okay, pretty simple. Now to understand this better, you have to understand 2 things. Okay, 2 things, guys. To create an extension is pretty simple. You have to understand 2 things. You have to understand the states API and the view API. Okay, I can't for this one, guys, I can't start I can start explaining you this because we have a lot of things in it, guys. Okay, try to practice, you're gonna learn. Alright, guys, now gonna learn how to create a documents. You can see in here, guys, if I move right here, you can see we have here a button inside of our app. If we head into inside of our app, you're gonna see we have here this button right here. Now if we click on the button, we're gonna pop up a model. Okay, and once we pop up the model, we are going to give the user the possibility to enter the title, but also the description of the documents. And then the AI can use here this description in order to help the user to create a document. Okay, that's what we're gonna do right now. Okay, because previously we learned how to create extensions. Now I'm going to head into the, first of all, we're gonna head into the model schema. Now, inside the model schema, what I'm going to do in here, guys, I'm pass here another schema, user document schema. Okay, we have here the title, description, content, user ID, and project ID. Is where we're gonna put in the data that we have inside the text editor. This data right here, we're gonna put it inside the user document schema. We're gonna put it in here. Now I'm going to head into the service folder, and inside the service folder, I'm gonna pass here another service, user document service. And what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to pass here the user document service, and right here I'm gonna pass here the singleton design pattern. We're gonna initialize here this class. We're going to check if an instance of the user document service exists. If it exists, we're gonna return it. If it doesn't exist, we're gonna create it. Now we're gonna pass a function that allows us to create a doc. We're gonna pass the title and description, the user ID, project ID. And we pass here user document, we pass here this property, and then we invoke the save function. You can see, guys, I just do copy paste. Okay, if we head into the knowledge base service, you can see we have here the function. Okay, we have here the function, I copy it, and then I pass it in here, and then I pass here now use documents. Pretty simple. We're gonna pass in our function that allows us to update the contents. We're gonna pass it doc ID, but also the contents. And also we're gonna pass in a function in order to retrieve data in the use document collection. Okay, pretty simple. I just copy these methods in here and put it inside the user document service. Okay, pretty simple, guys. Okay, now I'm gonna head into document. You can see I've already passed here document folder. Now we have a root.ts, and in here I'm gonna pass here an endpoint that allows us to retrieve data in a use document collection. Okay, we pass the project ID, user ID, and then we invoke here get docs for projects. We're gonna get here a list of documents. Okay, now we're gonna pass in our function that allows us to create a document. We're gonna pass the title, but also description, and then we're gonna pass the last function that allows us to update a document. We're gonna send you the content and here the doc ID. Okay, it's pretty simple, guys. You can see in here, if I enter in here, once we click on the button, we're gonna pop up a model. Okay, as I said previously, we're gonna pop up the model, and once we pop up the model, the user is gonna provide here the title and the description. Okay, now we are going to, the AI is gonna use here this description in order to get a better or complete, because if you don't have a better description, the AI can hallucinate. Okay, can generate what it wants. Okay, now in order to have a better or complete, when we are writing a document, we need to pass here a better description about the documents. Let's say you want to write about prompt engineering. Now you can pass a better description, and then when you're gonna be writing your document, the AI is gonna generate you a better or complete. Every time you want to type something, the AI is gonna generate data for you. You aren't gonna do anything, guys. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to create now here this model right here. We're going to create a model. Now, to create a model, I'm going to head into the project model inside the component for the project model. You can see we have here the project model. Now, I'm going to take here this model, and then I'm going to pass it into a document model.tsx file that we're going to create right now. Okay. Now, I'm passing that file, document model. Okay, and guys, I copy here this code right here, I put it inside document model, and then I modify things in here. I've already explained you how to save data, and now we're gonna pass here the schema, title, description. I'm passing the type, and here you can see we use zod here in order to get the type. You can see actually we have the type as we pass here z.infer, and then I pass the type of form schema. We're gonna get here ATS type. Okay, now I'm going to head into the doc slice. We're gonna head into the doc slice, and what I'm going to do in here, guys, we're gonna pass here document model property, and then we're gonna pass it here and pass here function that allows us to open the model. Okay, you can see pass here document model, and is equal to difference of the value. Okay, if the value is equal to true, we're gonna modify it to false. Now I'm going to go back inside the document model, and what I'm going to do in here, I'm passing these components, and you're gonna pass it document model, and we pass it the session and the project ID is prop. You can see we pass it in here. Now I'm gonna pass here use form hook. Okay, this is real form hook. I've already explained you how it works. Now we're gonna pass here the base model, and here we're gonna pass here form tag. We're gonna pass on submit. We're gonna invoke the function right here in order to send data. I've already explained you how it works. Okay, everybody in here know how to do it. We're gonna pass here the title and also the description right here. Okay, it's pretty simple. And then we're gonna pass here the cancel button and submit button. Okay, that's great. Now I'm going to head into the left panel, and in here, guys, what I'm going to do in here, you can see we have here this button. Okay, menu item. Okay, if I head into in here, you can see this is the button right here. Now I pass here the function target document model. And then I'm gonna import it, and we are going to import here the document model, and then we're gonna pass at the bottom. We pass here the session, but also the project ID. Okay, great guys, you just do a great job. Now if I click here, we're gonna open the model. Now let me try to click here. Okay, yeah, you can see pop up the model, create documents. Okay, now let's say I wanna write about prompt engineering. I can pass here prompt and pass the prompt engineering techniques like this. And now I can go ahead right here. I'm gonna look for a little description right here. I don't know where to copy it. I can copy even this right here, and then we're gonna pass it right here. We're gonna pass it in here, and then we're gonna click here create. Okay, yeah, we got here a document created successfully. Okay, beautiful, we just created documents. Now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to fetch now a list of documents. You can see in here we have document section. If I head into in here, we need to display here list of created doc. Okay, and if I head into the MongoDB, you can see we have here user document, we have here documents about prompt engineering. Okay, this is the doc. Now I'm gonna fetch it. Now in order to fetch it, we're gonna head into the chat.t. We're gonna head into projects and pass here projects.ts. Okay, inside the lib folder API project.ts. You can see we have here, we're gonna create a function that allows us to fetch data. Okay, now I'm gonna pass it in here. Okay, get user document, we're gonna pass the user ID and project ID, and then we're gonna add the document endpoint. Now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to head into now the store folder, and inside the store folder we're gonna pass here another slice. I'm gonna name it AI editor slice. Okay, and in here we're gonna pass here the slice. We pass here project ID, user ID in order to feed data, and we are going to pass here the state. You can see inside the initial state we have here free property, use document, error, loading. Okay, now I'm passing extract users to check if we are fetching data. We're gonna modify the value of the loading state to true. When we finish fetching data, we're gonna modify the value here again to false. Okay, and then we're gonna pass here AI editor slice. We're gonna export it, and right here we're gonna pass here failed fetch documents like this. Now we're gonna head into the index.ts, and then I'm pass here the slice like this. Now we're going to head into the left panel, and what I'm going to do in here, guys, I'm going to pass here the function get use documents. I'm gonna import it in here, and I'm going to pass here the function fetch document. Okay, we're gonna import it from the AI editor slice, and right here we're gonna pass here use document is equal to use selector, and then we're gonna get access to that slide, and then we're gonna get access to that slice, pass state.AI editor. Now I'm going to pass here use effects in order to fetch data, and we're gonna pass the dispatch. Instead of it, we're gonna pass here fetch document. We pass here the project ID and user ID. Now we're going to pass here another section, active is equal to documents. We are going to pass here an array of documents like this, pretty simple. And you can see here pass here function that allows us to format the date, format update date. If I click here, we have the function inside the URL folder. You can see this is the function. Okay, like this. At the top here we have an error. Okay, let me fix that. AI editor. we need to pass here the slice. Yeah, you can see here we have nadir. We are going to go back inside the AI editor slice, and then we're gonna export that here. I'm gonna export here AI editor. Okay, we're gonna export that reducer, and here too we're gonna pass here documents. Okay, like this. And now if we head into the left panel, we're gonna get rid of the header here. Actually, the header is gonna disappear. Okay, we're gonna get data right now. If I head into the browser, we're gonna get data. Let's try to see. If I head into document, you can see we have here two doc, prompt engineering techniques, but also you can see we have here autonomous AI agents. Okay, these are the docs that we got inside the use document collection. If I click here refresh, you're gonna see we have here two rows. This is the first row and this is the second row. Now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go back inside the left panel, and I'm going to create here another component. You can see this is we're gonna take this and we're gonna wrap it inside a component. And right here I'm pass here user document list, user document list.ts, like this. Okay, and then I pass here, we're gonna create here stateless component. Let me pass here sfc. Okay, like this, and then I'll pass here user document list, like this. We're gonna pass here now this. Okay, and we're going to pass here use document as a prop, and pass it in here, and tap it with document list. Okay, yeah, if we head into the AI editor slice, you can see we have a tab. Yeah, here's the tab here. Yeah, use document list. Okay, I'm gonna copy this, and then we're gonna head into here. We're gonna pass it right here. Okay, and we're gonna import it in order to remove tapping errors, like this. We're gonna take this, and we're going to pass it inside the left panel. Okay, I'm gonna import this first. We're gonna go back inside the left panel. I'm gonna remove this. We're gonna pass this here. Okay, like this. And here we're gonna pass here user document. Yeah, user document list. User document is equal to the, yeah, first of all we need to import this. Let me go back here. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna pass here user document like this. Now I'm gonna, yeah, I'm pass here this. We're gonna import it, and then we'll pass here user document is equal to user documents, like this. Okay, and then we're gonna get rid of the error. Okay, actually the error is gonna disappear. Let me see here the type. Okay, let's head into the browser to check if we're gonna fetch data. Okay, you can actually still fetch data. Okay, everything is working pretty well. Guys. Okay, now as we just finished fetching data from the user document collection, now I'm going to create another endpoint that allows us to pass data to the text editor. You can see in here we have two docs here. If I select here this doc, we are going to pass the data of this document to the text editor. If I select this, we're gonna pass it the data. Okay, that's what we're gonna do right now. And to get data, we're gonna create an endpoint. We're gonna head into the user service. We're gonna head into the use document service again, guys. And right here, I'm passing that endpoint. Okay. You can see pass here use documents that found one. We're gonna pass here the doc ID, and then you're gonna return here a single row. Now we're gonna head into the API folder, and inside the API folder you can see actually I've already passed here to folder. You can see we have here the save folder, and we have here the single doc folder. Okay, now I'm gonna head into first the single doc folder. We're gonna pass here an endpoint that allows us to fetch the data for the single documents. We're gonna pass here only the doc ID. Then I'm gonna check if we don't have the doc ID. If we don't have it, we're gonna return data. And if we have it, we're gonna fetch data, and we pass here use document save the get instance. And then here we invoke the get document content. So we pass here the document ID. Now I'm going to head into another folder right here. You can see we have here the save folder. I'm gonna head into root.ts. You can see on this image, guys, at the bottom here, I'm gonna pass here a button that allows us to save editor data. Now we're gonna head into the API folder documents, and you can see we have here the save folder. Now I'm gonna head into root.ts, and in here I'm going to pass here this pulse HTTP verb. We're gonna pass here the doc ID and the contents. Then we're gonna check here if we have here the doc ID and contents. After that, we're gonna pass use document save the get instance, and then pass doc updates. Okay, we're gonna pass doc ID in the content. Okay, if I head into inside the use document service, you can see we have a function that allows us to update the content column. Okay, we pass it the doc ID and the content. Okay, it's pretty easy, guys. Okay, now we're gonna head into the AI editor slice. Now in here, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm gonna create here a property selected documents, and you can see here's the type. It is here the ID, title, description, contents. Now pass it in here. Okay, you can see default value for the ID. We have here empty, title empty, content we have something. And now I'm going to create an action that allows us to update the states, and here pass here the payload. Okay, for the payload, here's the data. Now in here, I extract here I remove here the content. You can see I remove here the content, and then I pass here the rest prop here. It means we're gonna have here the ID, title, description, and then pass here content. I pass here the description. I don't pass here the content because for testing purposes I want to do that. Okay, here we should have here the content, but as I want to test if it works, I'm passing right now description. We're gonna modify that later, guys. Okay, because actually we don't have the contents. I'm gonna try to test if it works. Now we're gonna head into the use document list, and right here we're gonna import here the update document contents. We're gonna import that action, and then we're gonna pass in here. And you can see here we either endpoint single doc, and then we're gonna feed data, and once we feed data, we're gonna pass it to that action here in order to update the state inside the AI editor slice. Now I'm gonna invoke the function update doc. Now we're going to head into now the editor. I'm gonna head into editor, and what we're gonna do right here, guys, let's head into the editor. Okay, we're gonna head into editor, and what I'm going to do in here, guys, we're going to pass here the content as a prop like this. Let me pass here, and we're gonna pass here the content as prop. I'm passing content, and we're gonna type it. The type here is string like this, and I'm going to update it. I'm gonna copy this. We're gonna pass it here. If I scroll at the bottom, and you can see if I pass here this, we are going to check here if we have data inside the content prop. We are going to run this command, editor commands that say content. We're gonna pass it the content. Now let's head into the middle panel. Now inside the middle panel, what I'm going to do in here, guys, I'm going to pass here use select hook, and then we're gonna pass here select the contents. Now we're going to pass the editor, and then we'll pass here content is equal to select document the contents like this. Pretty easy, guys. And then we just finish. Now what we're gonna do next, we're gonna head into now the editor toolbar. You can see right here, actually I'm located inside the middle panel. Now I'm gonna head into the editor toolbar, and then here I'm passing that bar and save. Actually, we haven't yet created a function that allows us to save data. Now I'm gonna head into the browser, and right here, guys, I'm gonna try to tap here. You can see we have here two doc. Let me click here. You can see when I click here, we select the content here, and for the content here, we pass here the description. Okay. Now I'm gonna get rid of the description, guys. Okay. Now I'm gonna go inside again. I'm gonna go inside the AI editor slice, and right now I'm gonna pass the content. Yeah, content like this. And also I'm gonna head into the use document list. Okay, right here, and I'm gonna get rid of font medium right here. I'm gonna get rid of this, and let's see what we got in here. Okay, you can see beautiful like this is pretty good. Okay, I don't want to pass it bold. Now let's try it again to click here. You can see if I click here again, we don't have here data. Actually, we don't have data. Okay, actually we don't have data as we click here. We don't have data for this doc. Now let's head into the editor, and we're gonna check here something. You can see we pass here content, and what I'm going to do in here, I'm passing this, and I'm making check and pass here content. If you don't have data, I'm pass here tab, I'm passing tab something, and then we're gonna pass here, we're gonna return here the contents. Okay, yeah, if you have data, we're gonna return here contents. Yeah, something like this. Let me check here. else we're gonna return this. Okay, yeah, we're gonna pass here this. Okay, like this. Now let's try to check here again. I'm gonna click here. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, we don't pass data. Let's refresh the page and see if we're gonna pass here data. Okay, I'm gonna select here. I'm gonna head into documents. Yeah, we don't pass here data. Let me check here first why we don't pass data. Okay, we should see here content. Okay, tap something. And also I'm gonna head into the data slides. I'm gonna get rid of this data right here. Okay, let me pass here. I'm gonna pass something like this. Tab something, and then pass it that. And now we're gonna head into the editor. Yeah, we're gonna head into the editor tiers, and now we're gonna get rid of these things right here. I'm gonna pass here this immediately. Okay, like this, and it's gonna work. Now let's try this again. You can see actually we have here tap something, and now I can try to switch here if we don't have data. Yeah, you can see actually we have here the cursor. Okay, everything is working pretty well. Now what I'm going to do next, I'm gonna head into the toolbar, and then I'm gonna pass a function that allows us to save data. I've already passed here function. Okay, we're gonna copy this, and then we're gonna pass it in here. Edit tab here like this. We are going to either endpoints document/save. We're gonna pass it the doc ID but also the contents. Now we're gonna extend properties of the editor toolbar components and pass here now contents. We're gonna pass here contents, and we're gonna pass here doc ID like this. And now I'm going to pass here the contents. I'm passing the tab is gonna be a string here. Tab is string, and for the doc ID, the tab here is string. For the editor here, we're gonna pass here the tab is editor. We're gonna import it from Titap. Like this, we're gonna import here make HP rec. We're gonna import this. And when we're gonna save data, we're gonna call a function show success. I'm passing show success. Okay, like this. Yeah, I'm passing show success like this. And I'm passing data that message. Okay, like this. And we can just assert this as message property. I'm gonna pass here something like this. And now we're gonna take here the function. We're gonna pass the bottom here. You can see we have here save. I'm pass here this. Okay, we're gonna pass this. We're gonna get rid of the run function here, guys. Okay, like this. Now let's go back inside the editor, and then we're gonna pass the component here some prop. So in order to get access to the doc ID, you can see we need to pass here the doc ID, but also we need to pass here the contents. Okay, I'm pass here the contents. Let me pass here the content is equal to contents like this. And here we need to pass here the doc ID. For the doc ID, we don't have it. We can head into the middle panel, and here you can see we pass here editor, we pass here the contents. Now in order to get access to doc ID, you can pass here doc ID, something like this, and then we're gonna pass here selected document. We're gonna pass here that ID, something like this. Okay, something like this, guys. And now let's head into the editor components, and then we're gonna extract the ID. We're gonna pass it in here. You can see and pass here we're gonna pass it doc, and pass it doc ID, and then we're gonna type it. The type here is string like this. Now we can take it, and then we're gonna pass at the bottom here, and then our editor toolbar components gonna get data. Okay, like this. Okay, like this. Now we're gonna head into the browser, and we're gonna try this, and it's gonna work. Now I'm gonna head into the browser to try this. Okay, now you can see we have here two doc. One here we have prompt engineering and passive prompt engineering. I'm going to convert it to I'm gonna convert this one to H1 like this, and then let's pass here chapter 1. Okay, like this. Okay, now I'm gonna click here on the button save. Yeah, we don't save data. You can see actually we don't save data. If I click here, I don't know if we are making an HTTP request to the server. Let's try to fix this. Okay, let me go back inside the toolbar, and right here I'm going to pass here something. Okay, we are going to pass here something. I'm gonna pass here to a loading property. I'm gonna copy this and pass here this and pass here loading like this. We're gonna pass it set loading, and yeah, like this. Now we're gonna take this, we're gonna pass it in here. Okay, we're gonna pass it set loading. The value is gonna be true here. I'm gonna cap this again. We're gonna pass it the bottom here. Then pass it here. We're gonna pass it false, and we're gonna pass it the final block. I'm pass it finally. I'm pass it finally. Okay. Let me pass it even inside try catch block. If you have later, we're gonna pass it false. Now we're gonna go at bottom here. You can see this is the button. Now I'm going to pass here loading. The value is equal to true. We're gonna show here this loading indicator, something like this. And if I pass here true, let's see if we're gonna modify. We're gonna display something in the browser. Let's head into in here. Yeah, you can see actually it works. Now I'm pass here loading. Okay, like this. We're gonna pass here loading. And also, guys, I think we made a mistake inside the editor component. You can see the bottom here. We pass here the content. Okay, we shouldn't pass here the content. Now I'm going to pass here because we want to send the editor data. Now we're gonna pass here editor that gets HTML. Okay, that's what we should pass here. Okay, something like this, and then we're gonna save data. Now let's try this and see if we're gonna save data. Okay, I'm not heading to the browser again, and now we are going to, yeah, we're gonna pass here. I'm gonna select here doc. Let's select here this one, and now pass here autonomous agents. Okay, autonomous AI agents. Okay, and then I'm pass here something like this. I'm pass here H1, and then we're gonna click here save. Yeah, you can see doc saved successfully. Now let's head into the prompt engineering. Yeah, you can see we have data in here. Okay, and we have data in here. Let me try to pass here a lot of data. I'm going to copy here data. Let me do this. I'm gonna move here inside the chat. You can see here we have data. Let me copy here something like this. I'm copy this, and then I'm passing here. Okay, and now I'm passing here chapter 1 like this. Now I'm gonna click here save again. Okay, we saved data, and yeah, it works. Now let me head into here. Let's try to see. I'm select here prompt engineering. Yeah, you can see we load data. We load data, guys. Okay, and here I can pass here this. Okay, I can pass here this, and let me check here again. Okay, yeah, okay, let me try to see. Yeah, let me try to refresh the page here and see if we're gonna keep, yeah, we're gonna keep data. Okay, let me go ahead and click here. Okay, we have data in here, data. Let me select this again. Got data there, right here. Okay, it works pretty well, guys. You can see actually it works pretty well. It works pretty well, guys. And if I click here again, save, we're gonna save data. Okay, like this, pretty well. Okay. Alright, guys, now we're gonna use an AI in order to generate autocompletes based on what we are working on. Let's say I'm writing a book about autonomous AI agents, and then let's say I've already passed here only the title. So once I pass the title and I move my cursor right here, so once I move my cursor right here, the AI is gonna generate the next words. It's gonna generate, let's say, even 200 words. And then you can read it, you can review the generated words, and then the AI can generate other words based on the previous one. Okay, the AI is gonna help you to write an entire book without doing anything. Now we're going to head into in here. We're gonna head into the, you can see inside the leaf folder. Leaf folder, you can see we have here generate doc title, and I pass in another file generate autocomplete. Now what I'm going to do in here, we're gonna pass the function generate autocomplete. I'm gonna pass the LLM, but also the previous words and the next words. And then here, I'm gonna pass here, we're gonna pass here structured output. Okay, I want the LLM returns here suggestions, and then you can see min length and max length. We're gonna pass here now the system prompt. You are an autocomplete engine for a rich text editor. Your role is to continue writing from the last words exactly as a human typist would. Use only the text inside previous doc word tag as counters. Predict what comes next immediately after the last character. Do not change topic, structure, or intent. Do not summarize or restart. You may return HTML, but only these tags: p tag, ul tag, li tag, strong tag. Do not use any other HTML tag. Do not use Markdown. Yeah, you can see this is the prompt, guys. Okay, this is the prompt that we're gonna use in order to generate the next words. Now I'm gonna pass you the LLM, and then we're gonna pass you the system prompt, and then we're gonna return here suggestions. Now we're gonna head into the API folder. You can see inside the API folder, we have your document folder. Now inside the document folder, I've already passed here another folder, AutoComplete. Now I'm not heading, we have your root.ts. Now we're gonna pass here the function. And then we are going to return here the data. Okay, you can see, we pass here the previous words and the next words. And then here, I'm checking if we have data. If we don't have data, we're gonna return here this error. We're gonna return this message. And as we have data, we are going to run this. We're going to run generate autocomplete function. We're going to pass the LLM, previous words, and next words. But actually, if I head into the generate autocomplete, I just pass only the previous words. Okay, for this one, I'm going to comment this. We're going to see what we're going to get from the LLM. And then we're going to try to see if it's better to add it. Okay, if it's better, we're going to add it based on the results. Now we're going to head into the autocomplete extensions, and in here what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to pass you something. Let's remove that first. You can see in here, actually I'm located in the block, in this block here, handle key down. Once we tap tab, we're going to insert the suggested data. Now in here, I'm going to scroll at the bottom a little bit. You can see we have here tapping timer, okay? And once we tap tab, we're going to run this. You can see first of all, we get here the editor data. We pass here editor that get HTML in order to get editor data. Now, after that, I'm going to do here some math in order to get here the previous words and the next words. Okay, I do some math. And then once I have here the previous words and the next words, I'm going to pass here a function, okay? Fetch suggestions. I pass here the previous words and next words. And then here, I'm gonna take here the AI suggestions data. We're gonna pass it inside the editor. Now we're gonna create a function right here. Okay, we're going to eat that endpoints document / autocomplete, and then we're gonna get data. We're gonna return data, and once we return data, we're gonna pass it inside the editor. Now we're gonna head into the browser and see how it works. Okay, you can see here's the editor. And we already passed here. If we head into editor.tsx, you can see we already passed here our autocomplete extensions inside the extensions array. You can see we got it in here. Now, let's try to test this. I'm not heading to doc here. Now I'm gonna select here autonomous AI agents. Let me get rid of this. You can see actually we have here an autocomplete. Let me get rid of this, guys. I'm tap here, and then you can see. Let me click here. Previous, and then I'm gonna remove everything in here. Okay, now let me try to write something in here. You're gonna see in a bit of a moment, we're gonna have here something. Okay, you can see we have another complete autonomous agents. Autonomous AI agents represents a transformative shift in artificial intelligence, enabling systems to perform complex tasks with minimal human intervention. These agents equipped with decision making. You can see. Then if I try to continue tapping here something, you're gonna see we have here other data. You can see I don't do anything, guys. Okay, now I can click here save. Okay, we're gonna save data. Now let me try to head into inside another doc here. Now let me try to write about prompt engineering. Okay, I'm past here. First of all, we're gonna have here the definition of prompt engineering. You're gonna see okay, you can see prompt engineering is a practice of designing and refining input prompts to elicit optimal response from a system. Okay, I can click here save, and then let me continue and pass here. Now we're gonna pass here types of prompt engineering. Okay, now let me try to see what we're gonna get right there. Okay, let's wait a bit. You can see common types includes directive prompts. We got that again. And here I can type here this. you're gonna see. Okay, let me see again. Or if I don't want this, I can remove it, and then the AI is going to generate new data. Okay, yeah, let me see in here the right prompt. Okay, yeah, you can see. Yeah, you can see, guys, the right prompts, straightforward queries for specific answers. Channel thoughts. Now if I head into here, let me try to write about channel thoughts. Let me see what I'm gonna get here about channel thoughts. And yeah, each of these prompts setups in scenario. For instance, channel thoughts prompts are ideal for mathematical. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again, if the age rate, what I don't want here, I can try to do something like this, and then we're gonna get there here again. Let me try to see. We're gonna send the previous words. Best practice. Yeah, we don't have here. I think here. Let me try to continue here and see what I'm gonna get here, because I expect to have here something about, yeah, you can see again, I don't get what I expect. Okay, now you can see this is better, but you can try to improve it. It's better right now, it's better. Now the second thing we have to do is to improve it. You can see again, it generates here free of thoughts. Okay, you can see we have here free of thoughts, and continue here again, and yeah, you can see it's pretty better, guys. It's pretty better. Let me pass here something. Okay, let me convert this into, okay, let me see what we have in here again. You can see pass here again. Okay, it's pretty better, guys. Pretty better. Now we're gonna learn how to activate and deactivate this feature. You can see sometimes we don't need autocomplete every time. Okay, I'm going to work on the button at the bottom here. You can see I have this button. I can deactivate sometimes autocomplete. I don't want to work with autocomplete, guys, but sometimes I may need it. And if I jump in here, okay, we have here there about autonomous AI agents, and if I head into here, we have there about prompt engineering. Okay, now we're gonna learn how to activate autocomplete and deactivate autocomplete. We're gonna head into the toolbar, and in here, yeah, first of all, we're gonna head into the AI editor slice, and then I pass in another state autocomplete. Okay, we're gonna pass here autocomplete. Now I'm gonna scroll a little bit and pass a function that allows us to modify the value. If the value is equal to true, we're gonna modify it to false. And at the bottom here, we're gonna export it. Okay, we're gonna pass it tag autocomplete in order to export that action. Now let's head into the autocomplete extension. Okay, autocomplete. Okay, right here. Okay, autocomplete extension right here, guys. Now what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to pass here state. You can say pass here state enable. Now let me explain you what is a state. You can think of a state like, let me show you. Let me head into here. You can see we have here an extension. This is the structure. We have here the name. Now inside the storage function, we pass the state. Now you can see here we have here enabled and counter. Default value is equal to 0 here. And here we have another function, add commands. Now you can think of add commands as actions. You know, in Redux we have actions in order to modify the states. Now here, once we call this command, let's say enabled, we're gonna modify here the value to true. If I call here this command increment, we're gonna increment the value of the counter to 1. Like this, you can think of add storage as a state and add commands as actions in order to modify the states. Pretty simple, guys. Now let's head into the autocomplete and pass here the state, and then I'm gonna pass here the command in order to modify the value of the state. And at the bottom here, inside the handle key down, I'm pass here this storage enabled. If the value is equal to false, we're gonna return false. Now we're gonna head into the editor toolbar, and in here I'm gonna import here the state autocomplete, and then I'm pass here the function tag autocomplete in order to modify the value, and then I'm gonna pass here suite component. We import it from .cn. Okay, and then we pass here the function tag autocomplete in order to modify the value. Now let's head into the editor, and right here what I'm going to do, I'm gonna import here the autocomplete, and then we're gonna pass the state. I'm going to check here if we modify here the value of autocomplete. We're gonna run this command, and once we run this command, we're gonna call here set autocomplete. Okay, you can see we define it inside our extension here. You can see we pass it in here set autocomplete. Okay, and that's all, guys, we need to do. Now, in order to understand how to add more extensions in Titap editor, you have to know the structure. Okay, it's pretty simple. If you understand the structure, you're gonna learn how you're gonna be able to add more extensions, and also you have to understand the Titap API a little bit. Okay, not everything. Try to understand it a little bit, and then you're gonna modify things. Okay, as I'm doing right now. Now I'm going to head into the app here, and then you're gonna see it's gonna work. Okay, and right here, let me try to, yeah, you can see here I've already passed here doc. Later, you can see we have here doc. Later, asking for a job, AI engineering position. Okay, and I pass here later, asking for job, AI, and pass AI engineering. Okay, and pass here position. Okay, let me try to do something like this. I'm creating a draft here. Let me do something like this. Okay, and then you can see actually if I pass the AI engineering, you can see actually we don't have autocomplete. We don't have autocomplete in here. We don't have autocomplete in here, guys. Now let's activate autocomplete. Okay, now I'm going to click here, activate, and then let me try to write here something. Let's see what we're gonna get in here. We're gonna wait a bit. Okay, we're gonna wait a bit. Yeah, you can see here. Yeah, you can see here, guys, we have something. Dear hiring manager's name, I am excited to apply for the AI engineering position. It's company name with 5+ years developing machine learning models. I'm tap like this. Okay, now let's try to see. We have here again something. Yeah, we have here something. I've also led a team of developers to deploy scalable AI solutions. Okay, yeah, something like this. And then let me try to see here what we're gonna get here. Again, let's see. Sincerely, your name. Please find my resume attached for your consideration. I can be reached this email and phone number. Okay, like this. Let's see what we're gonna get again here. I think we're gonna have here is sincerely. Okay, yeah, we have here something else. Okay, I can tap this and get rid of this, and I'm not disable here now the autocomplete, and then here I can start. I can structure my letter here. Okay, and reviewed if you have here headers. Okay, something like this. You can see it's beautiful. Okay, yeah, let me try to do something like this. Okay, something like this, guys. You can see it's pretty simple, pretty beautiful. Okay, and I can click here save. Oh yeah, we finish. Okay, let's say now I want to rephrase here something. Let's say I select this. Okay, and then we have here another feature. Let me click here. We can click here, let's say translates in French. Okay, let's say I can select all of this, and then I come here and click here translates or improve. The AI is gonna translate the letter, let's say in French or in Chinese. Okay, something like that. Alright, guys, now we're gonna work on the translation extension. Previously, we learned how to create two extensions, the autocomplete extension, but also we learned how to create a rephrase extension. You can see if I head inside the extensions folder, you can see we have here rephrase and autocomplete. I've already passed here another extension translates, okay? And I copy what we have inside the rephrase, I put it inside the translate.ts. I don't modify anything here. As you know how to create an extension, now we're gonna head in, and then we are going to take here this function here. It allows us to hit these endpoints. We're gonna pass the language to translate to, but also the word to translate. And then we're gonna take it, we're gonna pass in here. You can see in here I pass here the selected text, and then I pass it translate. We're gonna translate to French, and then here I pass it selected text. Okay, and once we send that to the server, we're gonna get the translated message. And here, if we head into the API folder, documents, and here we have the translate, you can see we have a function that allows us to translate, okay, to French. And then if I click here, you can see we have here the system prompt, okay. You are a professional translation engine, okay, and then your job is to translate to X language, okay, and then we're gonna hear, and then the it's gonna return a translated message, okay. It's pretty simple. I just do copy paste. I copy everything inside the general AutoComplete.ts, and then I put it inside the translator.ts, and then I modify the system prompts. You can see it's pretty simple. Now we're going to, let me go back inside the editor. You can see right now pass here translate this extension pass to the extensions array. And yeah, you can see we have also here we have here the AI panel. Now inside the AI panel, you can see we have here translate to French. It was translate. You can see here previously it was translate. Now pass translate to French, and then we have something like this, translate to French. Okay, and then I pass here the function translate, okay, because at the top here I invoke this extension, I invoke it, okay, pass here editor that change the focus that translate, and then I run this, we're gonna translate, okay, it's pretty simple. Okay, I'm going to head into in here, and then let's try to see here. You can see we have our letter in here. Now I'm gonna try to translate it. Let me select here this first paragraph, and then I'm translating to French. I'm gonna click here, and then I'm click here translate, and then you're gonna see the it's gonna translate it. Yeah, you can see we have here something. You can see the translated. You can see we have here French. I don't know if you know French, guys. Cher, yeah, you can see cher, nom du responsable du recrutement. Okay, you can see, guys, the AI translated to French. Je suis ravi de poster le poste d'ingénieur en intelligence artificielle. Yeah, this is French, guys. Yeah, you can see this French. Now, let me try to translate here again. Let's say I don't understand here something. Let me try to see. Let's say I don't understand here designing. Okay, let's say commitment to current age technology. Let's try to translate this. I can click here and then click here translate. Let's say what do you mean. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, you can see this was the data translated by the AI. Engagement envers la technologie de pointe, current age technology. Okay. Yeah, you can see actually works. Now, in order to work on, you can see actually works. It's pretty simple. Okay, you can see we are going to do the same thing for improve, make longer, make shorter. Yeah, for these two, I'm gonna get rid of these two. You're gonna do that, guys. Okay, make long, make short. I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna show you how to do improve only, and because it is the same process, you're gonna do for make it long and make it shorter yourself. It's pretty simple. Now let's work on the rephrase extension real quickly. We're gonna head into again inside the API folder. You can see I've already passed in another folder. I name it rephrase. You can see now if I head in, you're gonna see something like this. I just do copy paste in here. I copy everything inside the translate folder, and then I put it inside the rephrase here, and I pass it generate AI write. This is the name of the function. You can see we have here action. We can pass it, we can tell the AI to rephrase a paragraph, fix grammatical error, or we can tell the AI to improve it. Now I'm gonna click here. You can see here's the system prompt. Okay, you can see we got here the system prompt, and then the AI is gonna return here the improved version of the input that we're gonna pass with. Now let me go back inside the AutoComplete.ts, and here you can see we have here the translation extension. Now I'm gonna head into rephrase. We already create this. Now just pass here function that allows us to send the data to the AI. And you can see in here we have here rephrase, okay? And I pass here improve writing, okay? And right here we pass here this. We pass here the selected test. We pass it to our function, and then we're gonna send here the action. For the action here, we're gonna let me see the name of the action. Yeah, for the action pass here improve writing, and we're gonna pass here the selected test. Now, once we send that to the server, the AI is gonna improve the data. It's gonna improve the selected test, okay? And then we're gonna give back data. Now let's go inside the floating menu. And inside the floating menu, I just pass here the function. You can say pass here refresh, okay? And then pass the editor that change, the forecast, the refresh, the run. And then we invoke it. You can see pretty simple. And if I head into the browser, it's gonna work. Let me try to move here. Let me try to select here project. Yeah, let me head into here. And if I select this, if I select this and then I pass it to the AI and tell the AI to improve it. And then let's see what we're gonna get in here. Okay, prompt engineering is the craft of designing and refining inputs. Okay, the AI improve it. Okay, you can see actually works. It's pretty simple. Now you know how to create an extension. It means you can improve this editor. You know how to create an extension. Alright guys, now we're gonna learn how to integrate real-time collaboration inside of app using YJS. YJS is a framework that allows us to build real-time collaboration app. Now we're gonna use it in order to integrate here live cursor and live mouse. Now this is live cursor. If I move my cursor to another position in the text editor, we're gonna track the X and Y. You can see actually my cursor is positioned right here. Now if I move it in here, I'm not tracking the X and Y position in real time. As we already know how to build an extension, a Titap extension, you're gonna understand that pretty well because we're gonna create an extension that exposes the X and Y position of the cursor. And once we expose the X and Y position of the cursor, we're gonna send these coordinates inside YJS. Okay, we're gonna pass it to YJS, and once we have it inside YJS, YJS is gonna broadcast these coordinates to another user. That's how it works. It's pretty simple. And here you can see we have here live mouse. We're gonna do the same thing. If I move my mouse right here, you can see I'm moving my mouse. Now, as I'm moving my mouse, I'm going to track the X and Y of my mouse. If I move it right here, I'm gonna track it. And then we're gonna pass it to YJS, and then YJS is gonna broadcast it. Now, in order to install YJS, you're gonna head on Google and you're gonna tap YJS. Scroll a little bit, you're gonna see this. We're gonna head on the repo. And once you head on the repo, we're gonna scroll a little bit, and then you're gonna see this line here in order to install it. Now you're gonna tap here npm install YJS and Y WebSocket. Tap this. Now in order to run the server of YJS, you're gonna run this command npx Y WebSocket host is equal to localhost, but also you're gonna pass the ports. Okay, like this, pretty simple. Now in order to understand YJS better, we're gonna explore here a section. You can see we have here shared tabs. We have to understand shared tabs in YJS. Now YJS has quite a few tabs. We have here Y array. We can use a Y array in order to share data between two users. Let's say we have an array of numbers 1 to 3, and if I want to share this array with another user, I'm going to pass it inside the Y array. And if I push an item inside the array, another user is going to be notified automatically. You can see we have here quite a few methods. In order to push an element, we're going to use here push. In order to remove an item, we can use here and shift. To delete a specific item, we can use here delete. In order to retrieve a specific item, we're going to use here get. If we want to slice an array, we can use here the slice function. We're going to pass here the starting index and the ending index. And here, in order to read through the array, we can use it for each. Okay, you can see we have here quite a few methods. Now we have here another tab here. We have here the Y map. You know, in JavaScript, in order to create a map, we use new map. Now in YJS, in order to create a map, we use here new Y map. Now, in order to retrieve an item in Y map, we use here get. In order to insert an item, pass here set. We use the set function, pass the key and value. To delete our key, we pass the delete. And in order to check if you have a key, we have an item inside the Y map, we're gonna use here heads. Okay, these are some tabs that we have in Y map. We have here also Y text. We have here Y XML fragments. We have here Y XML elements. Okay. Now it's up to you to know which type suits the best. Okay, you have to choose a type. Now in our case, we're gonna use here only Y map in order to share the X and Y position of the mouse. We're gonna use only Y mouse. Now, how to create a YJS saver? Now to create a YJS saver, we need to pass here this line, a WebSocket provider. We're gonna pass here new WebSocket provider. We're gonna pass here the URL of the WebSocket server. We're gonna pass here the name of the WebSocket server, and then we're gonna pass here YDoc. We're gonna pass here type. You can see we have here type YDoc. This is documents, and then you can see instead of this document, we're gonna pass it an array, and then the name here is count. Now, in order to check if we have data, let's say we have an empty array like this. Okay. Now we are going to use here the observe function in order to check if we have no value inside the array. If we push inside the array 1, we are going to the observe function. It's going to broadcast this new value to another user. That is the goal of using the observe function. We use the observe function in order to track changes of a given type. Okay, you can see we pass here Y array that observe. We pass here the events. If I push an item inside the array, we are going to notify another user. Okay, it's pretty simple. Now, in order to understand this better, we're gonna get into the practice. Now, you can see here, guys, we have the text editor page. Now, this is the text editor page. Let me comment everything here. Let me comment everything here. I'm gonna comment everything. I'm comment this. And then if we head into the browser, you're gonna see we have a paragraph. We have here hello world. Okay, we don't have anything here. Now, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to create a component here. I'm gonna name it user mouse. And the user mouse, we're gonna pass a prop mouse position. And we have here state at the top here, mouse position. We have here three property, username, X and Y position. And then we're gonna pass it to the user mouse. If we head into the user mouse, this is basically a component, a React component. We don't have many things in here. You can see we have here only an icon and we pass here the name of the user. If I head into the browser, you're gonna see something like this. You can see this is the user mouse component. Let me get rid of the hello world. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna remove here, I'm gonna comment this. And then you can see this is the user mouse component. Actually, yeah, you can see actually the X and Y position is 0. That's why you see it in here. Let me modify here the position. Let's say I pass here the X position, pass here 200. Let me see where we're gonna put it. You can see it move here. If I pass here the Y position, pass here 200, it move again. You can see it move here. Now I'm going to create here. I'm gonna create here a function. Okay, I'm gonna pass here this event on mouse event. We're gonna expose the X and Y. We're gonna modify the X and Y we're gonna modify the X and Y position. Okay, now let me first comment this. Okay, you can see we have here new position. Okay, this is the new position. Now we pass here username, Ben. We pass here the X and Y. Okay, and then here I'm going to take that event. We're gonna pass it to the div here and pass it to the div. When we are going to move here the mouse, we are going to modify the X and Y position. Now let me first pass something like this. I'm gonna pass here 0 and I'm pass here 0. Now I'm going to pass here set mouse position. Set mouse position. I'm gonna pass here new position like this. New position like this. Now let's head into the browser and see what we're gonna get here. You can see actually it starts moving. If I move my mouse right here, we're gonna track the X and Y position of the mouse. Now, what if I head into in the incognito window? I'm not heading. This is a new incognito window. I'm copying the base 0 and then I'm passing here. I'm tap inner. You can see in the new incognito window, the mouse is positioned in the top left corner. If I come here, you can see the mouse move here. as I'm moving the mouse. But in the first window, the mouse doesn't move. Now, we're going to use here, we're going to create a YMap type that we're going to share to another user. You can see, actually, I've already run here my saver. If I move right here, you can see this is my saver. Okay, if I run this, I've already run my saver. Now, let's create a type that allows us to share the X and Y position of a user to another one. Okay, now I'm going to do something like this and pass this here and this here. Now you can see in the left window, if I move the cursor, it moves. But in the right window, the cursor doesn't move. Now let's create a Y map in order to share the X and Y position. Now what I'm going to do in here, guys, I'm going to create a Y map. You can see I'm passing here a Y map, and I'm passing inside the Y doc. Okay, and the name of the Y map that we just created, the name is mouse location. Okay, now we have here the Y mouse. Okay, we are going to store the X and Y position inside the Y map. Now, what I'm going to do next, when we move the cursor in the browser, when we're going to call these events, I'm going to pass a value inside the map. In JavaScript, let's say we have here a map in JavaScript, const X is equal to new map. Okay, this is how we create a map in JavaScript. Now, in order to add a value, pass here set. Okay, now in YJS, in order to add a value in YMap, we pass here the name of the key and the value. In JavaScript, we pass here the name of the key, and here we're gonna pass here the value. Pretty similar, guys. Now, when we're gonna call the on mouse move event, we're going to set the X and Y position of the mouse in the Y map. And here we're going to head into now the use effect, and then I'm passing that line YDoc. I'm gonna initialize. I'm gonna remove everything that we got inside the YDoc. You can think of this line like X is equal to 9, and then when we are going to head into the use effect, I'm gonna say X is equal to now. Okay, now I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm going to remove everything inside the YDoc, and now here I'm not initialize here WebSocket provider. I pass here the WebSocket URL, the name of the WebSocket server, but also pass here YDoc.current. Okay, we have here the YDoc at the top here. Now we're going to create a function here, observe mouse. Yeah, observe mouse like this. Now you can see in here, when we move here, we invoke this event. We set the X and Y position of the mouse in the Y map. Now I create here a function in order to observe. If we modify the value in the Y map, if we modify the value, we are going to call this function. You can see pass here, we're gonna call the function. I'm pass here Y mouse that's observe. I'm not observe it. If we modify the value, we are going to run this line, and then we're going to notify another user. We're going to broadcast the X and Y position to another user. And then I pass here provider on status. When another user is connected, we're going to console here the status. And then I'm going to pass here, I'm going to return here an object. We are going to remove everything. When, let's say, I close the window, I'm going to remove here. I'm going to clean up everything here. We're going to free the memory. And then pass here observe mouse like this. Now let's head into the browser, and you're going to see we have here this. Yeah, you can see actually we broadcast the position, the X and Y position of the mouse. You can see if I move here, it works. It works pretty well, pretty simple, guys. You can see this is how we broadcast the X and Y position of the mouse in real time. You can see if I pass here in our new incognito window, let me pass here the third window. Yeah, new incognito window, and then pass here localhost / test page, and pass here localhost / and pass here test editor. Now I'm tap inner. You can see in free mouse here. Yeah, you can see. That's cool. That's cool, guys. That's cool. Yeah, everything is working pretty well. Okay. Alright, guys. Now we're gonna learn how to track cursor position. Now we already create a text editor. Now we're going to create an extension that exposes the X and Y position of the cursor in the editor. Let's say we have here some text in the text editor and the cursor is positioned right here. If the cursor moves at the bottom here, we're going to track the X and Y position. As we already know how to create an extension, we're going to go ahead and get into the component folder. I'm going to scroll a little bit. We're going to head into component folder. You can see we have the editor extensions. Now I'm passing other extensions I've already created. This extension, it allows to track the cursor position in the editor. It exposes the X and Y position of the cursor. Now I'm going to head into the editor. We're going to head into first the AI editor slice, okay, in here. And what I'm going to do at the top here, I'm passing here a property cursor. And then I'm passing here cursor X and Y. We're going to pass here a function that allows to pass the data to the cursor state, okay? Once we call tracker's position function, we're going to pass here the data. Now I'm passing here tracker's position to expose it. We're going to head into the editor TS6. And in here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to import here now our extension. We're going to pass here the cursor position extension. And then we're going to pass here state cursor, set cursor. And right here, I'm going to pass here now the cursor extension. And then on update, we pass here set cursor. And I'm passing here now this action, track cursor position. We're going to pass the data to the state that we define in the AI editor slice, okay? But actually, we still have it. We got an error in here. Now, to get rid of the error, I'm going to pass here dispatch like this. And yeah, like this. Now we need to pass dispatch edit type here like this. And now I'm going to copy here a use select hook. I'm gonna copy this, and we're gonna head into the test page. You can see the test page. We're gonna pass edit type in here. Okay, we're gonna pass edit type right here. Okay, I'm going to pass it right here, something like this. Okay, guys. And here, in order to get access to the cursor, we're gonna pass the cursor like this. Okay. Now, as we get access to the cursor, I'm going to import the editor here. I'm passing editor, editor like this. And the editor takes here two props. We're gonna pass the doc ID, I can pass here random ID, something like this. I'm gonna pass here random ID, and also gonna pass here the content is equal to this. Now let me look for the contents. I don't have here the contents to pass. I don't have the contents right here, guys. Okay, yeah, let me import this component first. We're gonna import it, and then we're gonna pass here the content. Yeah, I'm going to pass here something like this. I can copy this, and I'm passing its content to the editor. Okay, something like this. Okay. Now, if we head into the browser, you're gonna have here something. Now, I'm gonna copy to the cursor right here, and we are going to see how we're gonna track the X and Y position of the cursor. Now, I'm going to pass here this. I'm pass here something like this cursor, and I pass here cursor position. Okay, something like this. Okay, now let's head into the browser and try this. Okay, yeah, right here, actually we have an error. Let me refresh the page here. Okay, you can see, yeah, we have here an error. Let's see. We pass here cursor, okay. Yeah, cursor, yeah, I'm passing JSON.stringify like this. Okay, something like this. And now let's see here. The actual value here of X is 0 and actual value of Y is 0. Okay. Now let me move here my cursor. You can see every time I'm moving the cursors, the X and Y value are changing automatically. Okay. You can see this is how we track the cursor position. Now, as we got the X and Y position of the cursor, now it's time to create a component that we're going to pass here. Okay. Now I'm going to head into here. I'm passing here a component, breaking cursor. Okay. This is simply a component. You can see this is simple components. And here you can see we pass it to the X and Y. Let me show you how it looks like. And here, let's say I pass here for the X, I'm passing 0, and for the Y, I'm passing 0. Let's see what we're gonna get it. And here, if I go back here, I think we should see it right here. Let me pass here the name. for the name here, you can see, let me pass here the name and pass here Ben Ijimbo, and here let me pass, let me see if I'm gonna see it right here. Let me refresh the page here. Okay, I don't see it. You can see something is blinking here. You can see we got it right here. It's blinking. Okay, you can see something is blinking. Okay, you can see, if you see well, it's blinking right here. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pass here now the X and Y position, and then pass here, let's see the name. Let me check here the name here. We have a prop here. I should pass it. Name is Ben Ijimbo and the color, okay, something like this. And now let me see name here, modify here and pass it Ben Ijimbo. Now let's head into the browser and see what we're gonna get here. Now if I refresh the page here, okay, you can see we got it right here. If I move again here, we got it right here. Let me try to type here something. Hello, and pass. You can see hello, and pass hello everyone. How's it going? Okay, you can see actually is moving. Okay, this is the X and Y position. This is a label. You can see this is a div right here, and it's moving based on the X and Y position of the cursor. If I type here again, if I do that, something like this, you can see actually moving. Okay, very cool, pretty simple. Okay, now let me show you how to broadcast the cursor position in real time. Okay, now we're going to head into here. I'm going to pass here another state remote cursor, and then pass the state remote cursor, pass the X and Y. Now I'm going to pass here Y cursor is equal to ydoc.current.game app cursor location. I'm gonna pass here this use effect in order to detect if the X and Y position are changing. If they are changing, we're gonna set the key. We're gonna pass to the Y cursor the X and Y. Now I'm gonna observe in order to notify another user that the X and Y position of the Y cursor are changing. We're gonna observe. I pass that here, and then I'm going to pass here Y cursor and observe. In case we close the page, we're going to remove the Y cursor, okay, in order to avoid memory links. Now what I'm going to do next, I'm pass here now remove cursor. I'm copy that here, remove cursor. I'm passing here and here. And now let's head into the browser and try this. We're gonna check if it's gonna work here, guys. Okay, let me check this. I'm pass here this, and I'm pass here this window, and I'm going to pass here this. Now we're gonna see what we're gonna get in here. I'm pass here this, and now if I click here, I'm not refresh the page here, and here I'm not refresh the page. And now let me you can see actually if I type hello world, you can see actually I am broadcasting the cursor position real time, but actually we don't have here the contents. If I pass here again, hello world, my name is Ben, you can see actually we have here the cursor position in real time. Okay, actually works pretty well. Now what we're gonna do next is to broadcast the content of the editor in real time. You can see actually if I remove this in here, it doesn't change. Also we need to share the editor contents. Okay, that's what we're gonna do next. Okay, actually works pretty well. Okay, you can see. Now guys, I'm going to copy everything in here. Let's copy everything in here. Okay, you're gonna copy everything in here inside of this file. You're gonna copy everything, and then you're gonna copy this, and then you're gonna head into the middle panel. You can see inside the middle panel we have here the editor. We pass here the editor. Now what I'm going to do, I'm pass here these contents. Okay, I'm gonna pass here these contents. Okay, and so we're gonna pass here the blinking cursor, and I'm pass here another prop. Okay, like this. Now I'm gonna head into the editor, and in here what we're gonna do, guys, we're going to pass here we're gonna import here an extension collaboration. You're gonna pass here Titap / extension - collaboration. Now you can see this is the Titap editor. Okay, now you're gonna pass here ydoc and then I'll pass the tab is gonna be n here. And now you're gonna scroll at the bottom. You're gonna pass to the extensions array. You're gonna pass here collaboration.config. You're gonna pass the documents, and then I'll pass here YDoc. Now let's go back inside the middle panel. Now inside the middle panel, I'm pass here, YDoc.current. Like this, you can see we have here YDoc. But also I can just copy the type, and then I'm not heading to we're gonna head into the editor, and then we're gonna pass it there. Okay, something like this. Okay, I'm passing here, and then we're gonna import YDoc. Let's go back inside the middle panel. Let me pass here, middle panel, and we are going to move at the top here. We're gonna copy this line. We're gonna pass it inside the editor. And pass here, editor, and then we're gonna head in, and now we're gonna get rid of this typing error and pass it right here. Okay, like this. Okay, that's cool, and everything's gonna work pretty well. If I type a word, let me show you. You can see this is the first window. Let me open here another window. You can see now. You can see here, if I select this, I want to select this right here, and then I'm not modify the color. Let me pass here yellow. You can see change. If I pass here something like this, hello everyone, I'm typing something. Yeah, you can see actually the contents is changing in real time, but also the cursor is moving. Okay, if I type something, if I move this right here, you can see the cursor. If I select this right here and I modify the color to red here, if I undo, redo, it's gonna be the same. I select this and then I pass it this. Okay, if I modify it to red, it change automatically. I can underline it, it change. And let me try to move at the bottom, and I'm not insert here. Let me try to insert here table. I can insert here table. I'm gonna click here, and then I'm click here inserts, and yeah, we're gonna see here a table immediately. Yeah, you can see we got a table here inserted from another user, and you can see this how we do it. Pretty easy, guys. Okay, you don't have to use a third-party API. It's pretty easy. Okay, I show you how to do it. Now it's up to you to code, and then everything is gonna work. You just follow the process. Alright, guys, now gonna talk about awareness and presence. If a user joins the room, we are going to push it into an array. We're gonna create an array. We're gonna name it Johnny's. Okay, we are going to create an array that looks like this. If a user X joins the room, I'm going to push the user into an array, and you can see this is an object. We're gonna have here the user, and property for the user, we're gonna pass it the name, email, color. We're gonna pass here the cursor position of the user, X and Y, and if the user is typing something, we can pass it's typing true. Okay, something like this. Now, in order to pull this in place, we're gonna use awareness in YJS. Now, I'm going to head into first the workspace. You can see we have here dynamic routes, projects. Now I'm not heading. Now you can see here we have here the session. Now I'm gonna take the session and pass it to the middle panel. Let me zoom a little bit. You can see pass the session to the middle panel. Now we're gonna head into the middle panel, and then we're gonna pass it the session. We pass here the sessions prop because we need to get access to the user ID and username. That's why I pass it the session. Now pass here the Johnny's array. Johnny's, we pass it the state, and then I'm passing the provider. And I'm gonna use the provider. Here you can see the provider ref here, the actual value is equal to now. I'm going to, when we're gonna run the page, I'm going to take here, I'm not take here these constants. Yeah, we're going to take the WebSocket provider. I see it right here. Yeah, you can see this, the WebSocket provider. I'm going to take the value, okay, and then I'm gonna pass it to the provider ref because I'm gonna use the provider ref. I'm gonna pass as prop to the editor. That's why I do that. Now I'm going to continue here. I'm going to pass here provider ref the current, the awareness set local state field up mouse. You can see on mouse move we are going to broadcast the X and Y position of the mouse of the user. Let's say the array is going to be like this. We're going to have here the user, and pass here, let's say we have here name is Ben, we have here the color, and here we're gonna have here app mouse, okay, and then pass it's gonna be an object. We pass it the X and Y position. And if another user join the room, we're gonna pass here name and pass name John, and here we're gonna pass here app cursor. Okay, we're gonna push here this, something like this. Okay, now let me get rid of this here, and then we're gonna continue. Okay, let me remove this. Now we are going to pass here now here use effects, and here if the X and Y position of the cursor change, we're going to pass here provider ref the current the awareness set local state field, and pass here app cursor. And then I'm now heading to in here, you can see inside the use effects, now pass here provided the current is equal to provided to the WebSocket provider. Okay, now I'm going to pass here my color to generate a random color that we're going to pass here. Now I pass here the user object, and then I pass the user, pass here the name, pass here the user ID, the color, and the ID. Now I'm going to pass here handle awareness change. If somebody join here, somebody join the room, we're gonna take him, and then we're gonna push him into the journeys array. You can see here, guys, we pass here set journeys, and then pass the active users. When somebody is gonna join the room, we are going to listen to that event, and then we're gonna push it into the journeys array. Okay, that's how it works. It's pretty simple, guys. It's pretty simple. Now we are going to pass here now to the function here. If I close the tab here of the navigation, we are going to listen to that event. Okay, and pass here provider that awareness, and then that off change. Okay, and then we'll call here handle awareness change. If somebody leave the room, we're gonna call that event. And now you can see here, I just comment here the blinking cursor. I comment this. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm gonna pass it something like this, journeys array. Okay, and here I'm gonna iterate through the array, and then here I'm going to pass you the cursor. Okay, and here we are making a check here first. If user or cursor position it doesn't exist, we're gonna return now. If the user ID is equal to the session that's user ID, I'm gonna return now. I don't want to display the cursor of the user in his own window. I'm not gonna do that. If another user join, is gonna see now the cursor of the user, but this user cannot see his own cursor. Okay, that's why I pass here user ID is equal to session that user ID, the ID I'm returning now. Now I'm going to pass here the cursor position, and I retrieve the cursor position from the journeys array. Okay, and then I'm passing here. I'm not do the same thing for the user mouse. I'm gonna iterate through the journeys array. Okay, and then here I'm going to check here if the user ID is equal to session that use that ID. I'm gonna return now. I'm not gonna display the cursor of the user in his own window. I'm not gonna do that, but instead I'm gonna display the cursor of the user into another window. Okay, that's what I'm returning here now, and then we're gonna display this. Okay, it's pretty simple. Now we're gonna head into the browser and we're gonna try this. Okay, and now I'm not opening here two window. Okay, now I'm gonna move here at the left. You can see we have here the name for the user here is Ijembo Izuba. Okay, this is the name here. I'm gonna move at the right window here. You can see the name here. The name here is Benefit Ijembo. Okay, Benefit Ijembo. You can see is the name here. Now I'm gonna use here Benefit Ijembo to write something. Now I'm going to close this. Let me reduce here the zoom here, and then I'm not heading to okay like this. Now Benefit Ijembo. Here we have Benefit Ijembo. You can see when I'm moving the real cursor, you can see I'm opening here something. this is benefit. Okay, this is the window of benefit. You can see benefit red. Okay, now benefit is gonna try to write something. Benefit select here something, and you can see the left, the cursor of benefits is moving past this, and then benefit is gonna start writing. But say hello everyone. You can see there at the left we have the case of benefit iJumbo. Benefit iJumbo is writing. Okay, you can see it's writing. Now you can see at the bottom here, guys, we have here iJumbo iZuba at the left. Okay, now I'm gonna move this case here. Okay, we're gonna try to tap with iJumbo something. Now let me reduce the zoom here. iJumbo, we're gonna move here. You're gonna see, let me reduce here the zoom too. You can see actually the cursor of the user is moving too. Now here iJumbo is tapping. Yeah, my cursor, my real cursor is located at the left here. Okay, now you're gonna see at the right here we have iJumbo iZuba is tapping. You can see iJumbo iZuba is tapping. Okay, it's tapping, and now let me move here my real cursor. This is my real cursor here. Now here we're gonna have benefit. It's gonna delete this. Benefit, it's gonna change the color. Okay, benefit change the color, and benefit here is writing something. You can see actually works pretty well. In here at the right, in the window of benefits, I don't show the cursor of benefits, but instead I show the cursor of benefits at the left window. Okay, you can see benefit is moving. If I move here, we're gonna see now here iJumbo. Okay, everything is working pretty well. Okay, guys, you can see this is how we create real-time collaboration using YJS. You know how to do it. Okay, you are ready, guys. You know how to do it, and you can build now this entire app from scratch. Okay, we just finished, guys. Now what we're gonna do next, I'm going to pass here now. I'm gonna head into here. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do here. Now you can see here's the editor, and at the bottom here you can see we have here some buttons. Now I'm gonna pass in another button, and once we click on it, we're gonna display a list of joining users. We're gonna pass here a list of joining users. Okay, that's what we're gonna do, and then we're gonna finish. I see you there. Alright, guys, now we're gonna display joining users into a little menu. Okay, we're gonna do that. I'm going to head into the middle panel, and inside the middle panel you can see we have your editor. Okay, you can see we have your editor. Now I'm pass here provider is equal to provider. You can see we have here the WebSocket provider. That's what I passed there. You can see if I scroll right here, guys, we have here something. Yeah, let me scroll at the top here. Yeah, you can see it's the middle panel, and we have here, yeah, we have here something. Let me look for it. You can see we have here provider ref. I'm taking the provider ref is where we put the WebSocket provider. You can see here I take here the WebSocket provider, and then I pass it to the provider ref. I'm take here the provider ref, and then I'm gonna move at the bottom here and pass in here like this. Now let's head into the editor. Now inside the editor we're gonna pass here the prop and pass the provider, and here I'm gonna type it as WebSocket provider. We are going to scroll at the bottom here. You can see we have the editor toolbar. We're gonna pass here the provider. We're gonna head into the editor toolbar, and we're gonna pass the provider as a prop and pass the provider like this. Okay, you can see passing here. Now I'm going to create another component, collaborative users. Okay, this is the component we're gonna use in order to display joining users, and I use the provider in order to get access to joining users. Now you can see I pass here an array users, and then I pass here use effect provided that awareness, and then update users. I pass here provided that awareness that get state, and then I'm not convert it into an array. I'm gonna iterate through it, and then we're gonna get here an array that I'm gonna pass to the user state here. And now once we have the user state, we're gonna pass it to that component right here. Okay, it's pretty simple. Now I'm gonna head into the editor. We're gonna go back inside the editor toolbar, and then I'm going to import the components. Okay, pretty simple, guys. We're gonna take here collaborative users, and then we're gonna pass it inside the editor toolbar. Yeah, I'm gonna head into editor toolbar. I'm gonna move here and pass it right here. Okay, like this. And I'm passing now the provider in order to remove another provider like this. Okay, the error disappear. Okay, as the error disappear, I'm going to rerun my server here, and then we're gonna try this. We're gonna see what we're gonna get. We're gonna rerun our server, and then here we're gonna see we have here another button. You're gonna see we're gonna have here another button here. You can see, guys, that actually we see here this. You can see actually we have here a single user. You can see, and let me move here. Yeah, I'm gonna join here. You can see as I join here, we have here 2 users. Okay, as I join, we have here 2 users. Let me move that right here, and here let me check here something. Let me scroll at the bottom. You're gonna see something here. You can see in here we have here 2 users. If I move here and close this, yeah, you can see actually we have here 1 user. Okay, if I join again, we're gonna have here 2 users. If I copy this URL and I pass it in here, we're gonna have here 2 users immediately. Yeah, you can see actually we have here 2 users. It works pretty well. Alright, guys, this is the last chapter where we're gonna learn how to add theming inside of our app. Now head on npm.com. And then you're gonna type here this command here, npm install next themes. It's pretty easy to use these components. Now you're gonna head into your layer.tsx. You're gonna import here theme provider, and then you're gonna wrap it. You're gonna pull your components into the theme provider. Okay, that's how we use it. And yeah, now I'm gonna do that real quickly. You're gonna head into inside the app folder. You can see here's the app folder. You can see we have here layer.tsx. I do the same thing here, guys. I pass here theme provider, and here we're gonna pass here theme provider. Okay, and here to theme provider like this, and theme is gonna start working inside of your app. Okay, it's pretty simple, guys. And also we're gonna create 2 components inside the component folder. Okay, I'm not heading to the component folder. Yeah, let me head into the left panel and pass here components account button, and then we're gonna pass here the username and the email. Okay, and we're gonna have something like this. Let's see right here. You can see we're gonna have something like this. This is the logged in user. We pass here CN menu. Okay, you can see we have something like this. Okay, something like this. It's pretty simple. This is the CN menu. And then if I click here, theme is applied automatically. Okay, if I click here again, okay, like this. Pretty simple, guys. Now let me head into the components of button. You can see in here I use a CN drop down menu. Let me head into the theme switch components, and right here, guys, in order to set the theme to light or dark, you need to pass here theme, and then I pass set theme, and is equal to use theme. I pass it right here, use theme. Okay, you can see I import it from Next themes, and then once you pass in here, you need to pass here set theme. If you want to use light theme, you're gonna pass here light. If you want to use dark, you're gonna pass here dark, and the theme is gonna be applied automatically as we are using CN. Okay, that's great. And guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe, and I see you in the next one.